Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday night live stream. And we're in a new location today. We're in the kitchen. Yeah, brilliant. But anyway, welcome as always to Wednesday night live stream. And it's me, as always, Pete, Playtendoguy, and I'm joined as always by Andy from Forgotten World of Movies.
Hi, guys.
Mike from Cinema Axeman.
Hello.
And we've also got Ash from Popcorn and Horror.
Hi.
So how are you doing, Ash? Looking forward to your first ever live stream?
Yeah, all ready for it, mate. Yeah, got the beers ready, so ready to roll.
That's the way. But yeah, the only question that I'm going to ask tonight is, what was the last film you watched? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Yeah, sure. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it right now. I all of a sudden today got the urge to watch Return to Oz. So I just thought I'd give that a go because that's one of my childhood favourites. I love that film. Yeah, I'm in the middle of watching that at the minute.
Very much a nightmare fuel film, isn't it? The Wheelers.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the creepy bit with Mom being all the different heads. It's yeah, but I love the movie.
I can remember watching it on BBC Two, I think, sometime in like the summer holidays when I was a kid. Never really scared me much. I must have been, unless I was watching something else, but I'm pretty certain I've seen it before. Isn't there like a small tin man?
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite dark for a kids movie, and I kind of just love it for that. Yeah, have a good time with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for you, so I definitely will have to watch it again. What about you, Mike?
I watched a film last night called Raw. It's like a French sort of, it's described as like a horror movie, but wasn't really much of a horror movie. It was a strange film, but I enjoyed it.
Is this the one from the director of Titane?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I probably enjoyed that more than Titane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. What about you, Ash? What's the last film you watched?
So my last one was from the Ray Harryhausen box set I picked up the other day, and I watched It Came from Beneath the Sea on Sunday for the first time.
Sounds good. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good actually. Yeah, when you sort of like think how old these films are and how good they still look when they restore the eggs, it's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. For me, last night, after Keith's and John's stream, I sat and watched Catfight with Sandra Oh on the Arrow label. What the heck did I watch? It's an interesting film, very satirical. The fight scenes were superb. I mean, I can't wait until the next Street Fighter film where Sandra Oh's going to be a playable character. But I don't know whether it's a film that I'd go back to watch.
Wasn't she in the Bean movie? She was like the secretary. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably what I know.
That was like the best film I saw her in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The booklet you get with the release is pretty cool. It's more like a comic book half of the time.
Oh, okay.
And I've also been rewatching the Pirates of the Caribbean films. I'm currently up to the 4th one. I've watched that. It's still shit.
I haven't seen the 5th one.
The 5th one, I didn't mind the 5th one, to be fair, the last time I saw it, but I'm going to rewatch it again, and then I'll probably say that's shit as well.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those Pirates of the Caribbean. It's one of those series I just couldn't get into. I started watching the first one. I got the halfway through, I think, and it wasn't for me. I don't know what it was, but just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I sat and watched the first 3 of them over the past few nights. I think the first 3 are great. I like the 3rd one more than I ever did as a child, to be honest. Might actually be my favourite one now. But the 4th one was a struggle. It wasn't really much of a pirate film. You couldn't hardly see. It was dark half the time. I was looking at the TV brightness saying, do we have to turn the TV brightness up?
I've got a big soft spot for the second one because it kind of reminds me of an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah,
I like the set pieces in it. I like the designs of all the pirates because they're like sort of meshed with all these like sea creatures.
It's real good. CGI is still really good, isn't it, on creatures? But yeah, as I was saying, this is your first time on the stream, Ash. So do you want to promote your channel to people who are watching?
Well, it's a pretty fresh channel. It's only been up about 2.5, 3 weeks, I think. There's obviously not that much on it at the minute. It's just quite new to it, and pretty much the first week I started it, I came out with COVID. So if you want to watch a man just slowly go down with COVID, uploading videos and kind of going a bit insane from cabin fever, then that's the channel to start with. But hopefully now I'm COVID free, that will get some more sort of content. You actually hear me speaking when my voice is back to normal. So, but yeah, pop over and have a look, see what we do. I did kind of like pick up some videos, maybe some videos that I kind of going to make are stuff that I think is underrated, sort of like want to recommend out of my collection. But yeah, go give it a look if you like.
Yeah, it's a great channel. I've been watching some of your videos and it's really good. If you want the link to his channel, it's in the description. Yes, it is in the description. Yeah, I did. Very professional. I can't even remember, but I definitely did.
Yeah.
But yeah, without further ado, let's get straight on to the comments. So first up, we've got somebody called Wesley Mayfair YouTube. Okay, thanks for joining, mate.
Hey.
We've got Edward Coppock here saying, "Evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. What are your thoughts on Peter Cushing's Dalek movies return to the big screen and home release in 4K?"
It's been a long time since I've seen those movies, the Doctor Who ones. I think I was at school the last time I saw them.
Yeah.
But from what I remember quite liking them.
You did hear that they're going to be released separately in a 4K set, 50 quid each.
That's a bit steep. A bit steep for me.
And I agree. I think it's a lot of money, and this is coming from a Doctor Who fan. Especially when I picked up one of them on Blu-ray for like 3 quid just before Christmas from Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? What do you think?
I wasn't really aware of it. I did see an announcement on Facebook about, I'm assuming it was them, like the steelbooks. But yeah, I don't really know too much about it. So they're being released in the cinema as well.
I didn't know they were releasing in the cinemas, no. But that'd be quite cool. I think it must be like the 60th anniversary of them.
Yeah, because they're doing something similar with James Bond, aren't they? I think they're releasing all of them in the cinema.
Yeah, I think Dr. No has hit the cinema as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think they're releasing like one a week or something like that. But apparently they're all in 4K, so that could only mean that there'll be a 4K box set on the way, I imagine.
Prepare your wallets for that.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I honestly, that'd probably be about 300 or 400 quid, thinking about it.
Yeah, probably 300 minimum, I imagine.
Definitely. What do you think about it, Ash?
Yeah, to be fair, similar to Mike, I don't really know much about them, to be fair, mate. So, yeah, not something I've looked at.
Yeah. We've got Soph here saying, "Hello, guys, and welcome, Ash."
Thank you.
Hi, Soph.
Hi, Soph.
Hey, Soph. DVD and Film Folks saying hi. Hi, mate.
Hey.
Soph says, "Pete, you look like a DJ." Yeah, my dad come in and said, "What, you starting for Radio 2?" So yeah, I thought I'd try these on for a change. We've got DCR 80 Gaming here saying, "Hello, gents. Thanks for joining."
Thanks.
Soph says, "No, to Return to Oz. I hate the Wheelers. They're not that bad."
If you've seen the anime Wizard of Oz, they are nothing like the ones in Return to Oz. No. They're just like little men with beards on one wheel on a unicycle in the anime one, but in Return to Oz, they're horrifying.
I'm intrigued about this animated one.
Yeah, the anime Wizard of Oz is great. I love it. Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. DVD from Film Folk says, I recently finished Lord of the Rings and I really enjoyed them. Saying that, I still prefer Peter Jackson's over-the-top splatter comedies. That's fair enough. That's good.
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah. We've got Sean here from Media Collector Matters saying, hi guys, hope you are all well and good. Not too bad.
Hi, Sean.
Hope you're all right, Sean. DVD from Film Folk says, my favourites is probably either Return of the King or The Two Towers, and my least favourite is Fellowship of the Rings.
Okay.
It's probably my least favourite as well, but it's you can't really have a least favourite, I think, in that trilogy, because they're all so good.
Yeah, I feel the same. I like them all equally, but I'll probably say my favourite is probably Two Towers, mainly because that was the one I watched first.
That's my favourite one, yeah. Has all my favourite moments in.
Yeah, they're all brilliant as a whole, but if I had to pick one, it had to be Two Towers. What about you, Andy?
I like all three of them, if I'm honest. Yeah, I just don't think you can really watch one without the other two. I really do like Return of the King, though. I just think that movie is epic to find. I know a lot of people don't really like the endings. It never ever bothered me, if I'm honest. I just thought it was wrapping everything up quite nicely, and it just left nothing untied. But yeah, I think Two Towers has a great build up to a great battle at the end, and Fellowship of the Ring is more like a kickstart journey type of thing. You get to know the characters, and then by 2 and 3 you know them and you know where it's going. But I think it's my third favorite trilogy of all time. Love it.
Yeah, I still need to see the extended versions.
Yeah, they are great. They
do add a lot to the films, and
yeah. It's I can't go back to the theatrical cuts. Whenever I'm in the mood to watch Lord of the Rings, it's extended every time. Yeah.
4 hours each, isn't it?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
What about you, Ash? What's your favourite Lord of the Rings film?
So, confession time. I have seen some of them, but I haven't seen all of them. So I've seen the first 2 and then half of the third one. But I still need to go back to the third one. So probably the first one, just because I've seen it the most, because whenever you start the trilogy, obviously you start there. So yeah, probably the first one for me. But I do want to get them. Now I've got the kind of projector set up in the house. I do want to pull that down and do them on there so I can see them properly. So.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Hobbit trilogy, Ash? Or haven't you seen them?
I haven't gone near it because I thought I'm going to finish Return of the King first, then I'll go to the Hobbits and start. I've got them all. I've got them all upstairs waiting for me, but I haven't started them yet.
I find the Hobbit trilogy very up and down. I think they're good, but I think they tried to stretch the material too thin to do like 3 films, especially nearing the end. I think is it Battle of the 5 Armies?
Yeah.
What do you think of the Hobbit trilogy, Andy?
I like them for what they are. They're not as good as Lord of the Rings, but I still get enjoyment and entertainment out of them. For what they are. Like I even watch the extended versions of those. I won't watch the theatrical cuts of.
Is there much different in length to the extended versions of the Hobbits?
If I'm honest, not that I've noticed. Not really. There are. You can see the cut scenes. You know the extended scenes. You can tell which bits are extended, but they don't really add much to the stories. Well, I enjoy them for what they are. Not as good as Lord of the Rings, but still entertaining and enjoyable.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as Andy. I enjoy them. they're not as good as Lord of the Rings, like not at all. But I still really enjoy them, and I don't really get the hate that much. I think the first one is maybe a little bit too slow to start. I think I remember that first hour is a bit of a drag. But yeah, I'll only watch the extended cuts as well. But like Andy says, I don't think they're quite as expansive as the Lord of the Rings ones. But yeah, I'll still just watch the extended cuts.
Wow. How do you get the extended cuts? Did they release them separately, or do they do them in a box set, as like the Lord of the Rings?
I think you can get them anyway. To be honest, I think you can get a set with all 6 movies in. I think you get like the Middle Earth box set. You can buy them all individually. You can buy them as 2 separate trilogies. There's definitely a couple of ways to buy them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to have a look into that. Next up, we have Surf saying, Ash, where are you from? I'm nosy.
Near Sudbury in Suffolk.
Oh, that's cool.
If you know where that is.
I know where Suffolk is, but I don't think I could point on the map to where it is.
No. Yeah, I think probably Sudbury's the biggest. Well, I say biggest town near me, I guess. Yeah, that area.
Yeah. Do you have a good range of like shops like H&B and that?
No, not like really locally, but sort of driving distance. There's probably only one HMV realistically now in driving distance, and there's probably about 3 or 4 CEX shops, depending on which way you go. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of charity
next up,
as well.
Yeah, we have loads here, but unfortunately they're more expensive than H&B. Unless you want about 50 copies of 50 Shades, one of the charity shops is lit with them. We've got Bristolian Dave here saying, all right, me babbers. All right, Dave. Thanks for joining. We've got Vince here saying hello. Hey, Vince.
Hi, Vince.
Dr. Impossible says, Score to Return to Oz by David Shire is a stunning film score. Just a shame Disney didn't show a lot more respect to the film, considering George Lucas funded the second half of the film. Didn't know that.
No.
Oh.
It does have some great music in it.
I'm more intrigued than ever to watch this now again. Now I'm hearing George Lucas funded the second half of it.
I think the guy who directed Return to Oz, I think he was originally George Lucas's like editor. I think for, like Star Wars movies, possibly, and it was like his first director job. And I think he nearly got fired because I think he was working too slow. And I think George Lucas like stepped in and backed him basically. So yeah, I think that's probably the George Lucas connection.
Oh, that's quite cool, actually. DVD and Film Bloke says, I also saw a recently obscure film called Playing Dangerously. It's sold as a Home Alone knockoff, and yet it's more like a Die Hard knockoff. It's tonally all over the place, but unintentionally hilarious. Never heard of it.
Yeah, don't know it.
No. Is it a fairly recent film, then?
Never heard of it.
No, I've not. No. It reminded me, is it Better Watch Out, where they do like a Christmas sort of Home Alone horror type thing? You seen that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. No.
I'm sure it's Better Watch Out. I watched it fairly recently. It's I don't think it's got a UK Blu-ray. I think I had to get it from Germany, but that was actually really like kind of darkly funny. Sort of a Christmas tale but similar to Home Alone, where they're sort of in a house.
Oh, that's quite cool. Soph says, love Sandra Oh in Killing Eve. No spoilers, but that ending was fucking dreadful.
Most endings to TV shows are.
I think my mum did the right thing and just kept to the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always wanted to watch the series, but we just never got round to it. Have any of you guys seen it?
No.
I've seen there's Killing Eve. There's a few series, isn't there? I haven't seen the latest one, I don't think, but I've seen the others.
Oh. We've got, if my phone works, Zachly95 saying, "Hi everyone, hope everyone is good. I've been watching these streams for months, but never had the confidence to comment. Oh, thanks for joining, Zachly. It's great
Zach.
to have you on the stream."
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the stream for so long, and it's great to see you comment. Hope to see more of you.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got Bumpers Movies here saying, "Evening all. Evening, mate."
Hey.
Dr. Impossible's here saying, "Still getting over Keith's super long stream. Epic." Yeah. Oh,
That was a great stream last night. Loved
definitely was.
Watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke says, "I also saw Ben and Arthur. I can get behind its themes, but it's really fucking crap. The technicalities are laughably bad. Cynical reviews reviewed it."
Never heard of that.
No.
No. No, I haven't.
I thought it was like a mixture of the films Ben Hare and Arthur, and I was like, oh, it's just Ben and Arthur. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Ben and Arthur. It sounds like a ITV sitcom.
Yeah.
I thought for a minute it was a film Ben about a rat or something.
Yeah.
Sub says, "Ash, I have subbed. We'll check your videos now."
Oh, thank you very much.
Sean has also subscribed to your channel as well, Ash.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you, mate.
We've got David Beach here saying, "Hey guys, hope you're all good. This is going to be a good night. It's Wednesday." Thanks ever so much, David. It means a lot. What, you come in here for a packet of crisps? He's coming here for a packet of crisps. Do you want to take the whole box? Yeah, it's going to take the whole box. Business meeting. He's sitting there going. Sub says, "You guys picking up anything in the Arrow sale?"
I'm not, no.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I've picked up one so far. Dinner in America. Yeah, I just picked this up today in HMV. Not seen it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. So I'm intrigued. And yeah, I might pick up a few more. I think we were talking earlier, Pete, about maybe Major Dundee. I might pick that one up, that Charlton Heston film. And there's a film called Mill of the Stone Women, which I might pick up, but I don't know if it's still a little bit too expensive. But we'll see.
Yeah. I did watch a trailer for that, like Dinner in America. That looks actually really quite good.
Yeah, it does. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, it's quite a recent release, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it came out in 2020. Yeah, 2020.
I'll have to look out for that one. What about you, Ash?
I'm going to try and be good and try not to. I've picked up quite a few things this month that I've kind of pre-ordered or paid for already, so I'm going to try and avoid it if I can. I've seen that Dinner in America, Mike. It's really good. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, cool.
Cool. I watched it. I don't know if you guys have got it as well, but I've got the like Arrow player, so I do a lot of I watch it on there first to see whether I like it, and then I'll buy it on Blu-ray if I think it's one I'm going to watch over and over again. But yeah, it's really good.
Cool. Oh, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. How much is it, Mike?
It was not $8.99 in HMV.
Oh, it's not too bad, then.
Yeah, because I think originally it was like £18, and that was a bit too much for me.
Yeah, that's not too bad for a fairly recent one. Oh, I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Oh, sorry about that. As for me, I'll probably go for that Major Dundee set. As I was talking to Mike about it, it looks like a really nice set. You get like 2 versions of the film, but they all come in like media books. But they look pretty cool. There's a few other standard ones what I get, like The Burbs and probably Weird Science.
Oh yeah. But
I probably won't go overboard. I say that, and I probably will do. probably Probably trade in a few things and then probably end up with a huge stack.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you start off with 1 or 2, and then all of a sudden you're up to 5 or 6 or 8 or 10.
I think I'm at 70 at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just a little addiction.
Yeah.
Oh, I was speaking to somebody who's got like over 200.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I haven't even got the shelf space for the stuff I've got now. It's on a little table, so why do I need more? Oh, but continuing on, Bumpers says, got my Arrow 4K of Henry Portrait of Serial Killer earlier today. Thoughts on that movie? Wasn't this a film you were talking about in one of your videos, Andy?
Yeah, I've got the movie. It's one of the movies I'll never watch again. I don't think it's bad at all. That's not to say that it's bad or it's horrible or anything like that. I actually do think it is a well-made movie. But I don't really like movies that sort of deal with that type of violence. I just find them they're a bit off-putting for me. But each to their own. You know, it is a good movie. It's got some great performances in it. Michael Rooker is fantastic in it. But yeah, it's one that didn't sit well with me after watching it. I just found it a bit too upsetting.
Is it quite excessively violent? And
it is in parts. Yeah, for me, I did find it quite violent. In some areas, but like I said, it's not. I'm not taking anything away from the movie. You know, it just wasn't for me. You know, it's just I wasn't the target audience for that movie.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Are you going to get it?
Well, funnily enough, mine arrived today as well.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long. I remember watching it on TV once, but I don't think I was really fully. It was one of those times where I wasn't really fully paying attention to it, so I can't really remember it if I'm being honest. But I like the look of that set. I really like the artwork on it.
You get 2 booklets, don't you?
Yeah, I didn't realize you did. Yeah, you get like like a sort of a standard Arrow booklet that has your essays and all that, and then this one's got like all like storyboard kind of stuff in it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a really nice set. I haven't really looked at it that much, but yeah, I'll probably try and watch it soon. I might do an unboxing video for it. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah,
but yeah, it doesn't seem too bad for the price. Then, if you get 2 booklets, is that the 4K edition? What you've got?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 discs as well, don't you? Like a normal and extended.
You get 2 discs. I think the other disc is a Blu-ray. I think that's just for the special features.
Oh right. Yeah. That's cool. What about you, Ash? Are you picking it up?
I probably won't again this time around, but I do want to get it at some point. I think for me, it's one of those ones, a bit like Mike, by the sound of it. I think I had it on DVD way back, and I probably have seen it. I can't remember anything about it, to be fair. But it sounds like the sort of thing I would be into. So yeah, I probably will pick it up eventually.
That's cool. I kind of want to get it. If I see it in HMV, I'll probably pick it up, but I haven't pre-ordered it. I don't know whether it'll be one that'll go out of print quite quickly, like the True Romance one did.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think because it's one of those films, like Andy says, it's quite a tough watch. There maybe there's people who won't go near it, so you never know. It might hang around for a while.
Yeah. We've got Gareth here from Video Tasty saying, "Yo, thanks for joining, mate. Hope you're well."
Hey, Gareth.
Soph saying hi to Gareth. Gareth saying hi to Soph. Dr. Impossible says, Bill McGuffey's score to Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150 AD has some rather experimental sounds that really blend well with the visual imagery. Silver Screen released them on CD quite a while back, and I'm pretty certain I have the soundtrack to that film somewhere in the house, but I can't find it. But yeah, I can remember they were good films, and I used to like the soundtracks. They're not official Doctor Who sort of films; they're just like sort of side projects, but they're good for what they are. Soph says, when you feel ill or down, do you have a comfort movie? Mine is 2003's Peter Pan.
I watched like quite a lot of like kids movies from the 90s that I grew up on that I went to see like at the cinema. Movies like Mouse Hunt and The Borrowers.
Or
Those types of movies. Yeah, I just really enjoy them. Have a good time. Movies like The Indian in the Cupboard. Movies like that. Yeah.
Never seen that one. Never even heard of that one.
It's awesome. I quite like it. It's got a good concept. It's like this kid has his cupboard, and when he puts like toys in it, they come to life when he opens it again. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
oh.
I quite like it. It's not the best movie ever, but I enjoy it for what it is.
Oh, that's good. I'll keep an eye out for that one. What about you, Mike?
I'm not too sure. I think the first film that came to mind was probably something like Mrs. Doubtfire, or maybe something like The Full Monty, just something to make me laugh.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. What about you, Ash?
Yeah, similar. So I'd go to a comedy, I guess, say something like either Team America or a South Park movie, something like that. Just a bit, yeah, that's my kind of humour.
Oh, brilliant Pixar. Sorry about the lack of actual footage of me. I'm moving into the living room because my dad's gone to bed. so I'm balancing everything on one hand whilst I'm trying to move into the kitchen or the living room, should I say. But hey, we are now finally sat down. Boom, in the living room. Very professional stream. I'll probably be in the bedroom by the end of the night. Right, for me. Well, this is the best thing, is sitting down here now I can look at the films and like, oh wow, this, that and the other. I would probably say one of the Spider-Man films or a James Bond film as a comfort film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Koroshi Ichi here saying, hello there, lovely people. How you there, Koro? Hope you're well.
Hi, Koro.
We've got Matt V Movies here saying, evening all. Evening, Matt. Hope you're well.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Matt gave me a lovely shout out on his channel today. I spotted on my lunch break as well. So thank you for that, Matt. Cheers.
Oh, that's great. Cool. My throat. Dr. Impossible says, evening, Itchy and gents. Pressing the button again. David says, Andy, do you own Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit on 4K box set?
Just Blu-ray, not 4K. Yeah, I'm very new to 4K. My 4K collection's very small. But yeah, no, just Blu-ray with the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
They're nice, but they're quite expensive, aren't they? About 70, 80 quid.
I was tempted to get Harry Potter on 4K, but I heard that the transfer wasn't that much better than Blu-ray, so I just kind of just the Blu-ray, and it's nearly like, I think it's like £100, I think, or £90 for the 4K set. So I was like, nah, maybe pass on that.
Unless you found it for £5 at Argos.
Yeah. We're all confused to grab that.
Whoever got that for £5 at Argos, very lucky, very jealous.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Cora saying, nice to see a new face on the stream.
Oh.
David says, I bought all the Hobby from Poundland going back on Blu-ray.
I think he means Hobbits.
Hobbits.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, that's not too bad. It's a really good price. £2 each. Can't say no to that. I got 2 versions of the Hobbits that came from Sainsbury's, and you were like special limited edition with Lego sets in. They're quite little big box sets. I remember
those, yeah.
Yeah, I only had them for like the final 2. Never got up for the first one, but I thought they were nice sets. Cara says, Dr. Impossible, hello sir, haven't bought TTC yet, as there's a Batman 18 animated film collection on sale on iTunes. We'll buy it in the up and coming weekend. Ooh.
Awesome.
Matt says, managed to pick up the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogies, Middle-earth books edition, wonderful edition. My Grail item in my collection. Ooh, that sounds good. And David says, I also have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Brilliant. Great trilogy to have.
Yep.
I have it. It's still sealed, and I'm kind of regretting it. I wish I got the extended version instead now. Dr. Impossible says, do because the 4K blew my holy socks off. Heston has never looked so good in 4K. Cool. Soph says, Sudbury is not too far from me. We go to Roy's quite a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's not Roy's Rolls from Coronation Street.
I was thinking that.
No. No. It's like I think the original one's in Wroxham somewhere, but this is like another one they've got. I don't think there's many of them about, to be honest.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, that's quite close to where I am. Yeah.
Nice. Cara says, I'll buy it tomorrow. Have you seen the Blu-ray? Jill says, hi everyone. I fancy that film Catfight Pete, but I'm used to catfights in my place. Hope you're all well. I subbed to Ash the other day. Great channel. Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hope you're doing well, Jules. Next up, we've got Cora saying, we'll go and subscribe to Popcorn and Horror. He seems like a nice guy to hang out in real life.
I'm pretty boring, to be fair.
Matt says, try to watch Liam Neeson's latest film, Black Light, last night. Fell asleep.
Oh.
Which one is that? There's so many of them.
Yeah. He's sort of gone down the same route that Bruce Willis had, I think, with the whole 10 movies a week type of thing.
I think there was one last year that was on Amazon called The Marksman. That was really boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think especially
they must just get. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, you're right.
I was going to say they must just dangle such an attractive paycheck in front of them for these movies that they just can't say no to, can't they? So, you know.
Yeah. He says he doesn't want to get typecasted and do these films again, and yet there's like 7 more still coming out.
Yeah.
But he's a really good actor, and he can do so much more. He did like a lesser-known film a couple of years ago. I think his wife was dying in that film, and that was a great film. I can't remember what it was called now, but
does that have his son in as well, like his real life son?
I think so. I think so. I know there's one called Trip to Italy that had his son in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I know there's another one coming out pretty soon. It's about him being an assassin and he's forgot his memory and they're all after him or something. Another one. I know there was one that came out in 2011 called Unknown. That was pretty good. I didn't mind that.
Yeah. There was one I liked called Non-Stop. I quite liked that one. That was pretty good.
The one on the plane?
Yeah. Where there was like text messages like on the screen and stuff. I quite like that. But the first Taken to me is great. I love that film. But yeah, just some of his earlier stuff, like Schindler's List, that's probably like his best work. Yeah.
Always liked him as Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the best part of that movie for me. Or one of the best parts.
Yeah, definitely. I love the first Taken one. Taken 2, taking it a bit too far. Taken 3, taking the piss, as I say. But apparently they're going to do another Taken for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe they're passing the torch to someone else.
Probably he's in their care home. We need your specific set of skills. I'm 70 years old. Fair enough. Cora says, a blind person's life story. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Oh, yeah. I get it. Matt says, watch Nobody this week as well. Insane fun, but insane film, but a lot of fun. Reminds me a lot of John Wick, but with a family. Yeah. One of the best films of last year.
Yeah, I love that film. I think it's great.
And also, it's only like 90 minutes long, isn't it? It doesn't outstay its welcome.
No. Brilliantly paced. Just love
it. Dr. Impossible says Walter Murch was criticised by Disney executives for making Return to Oz too dark and subversive. Disney wanted a more light and playful movie in the vein of the MGM musical.
Yeah,
they made quite a lot of dark movies in the 80s, Disney.
Yeah, I've heard about that. The Black Cauldron.
Black Cauldron. Yeah. Something Wicked This Way Comes.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Now it's quite rare to get a Disney dark film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got Peter here saying, yeah. Hey, Peter. Cora says, was thinking of getting some stuff from Arrow directly, but as they're not signed up to IOSS, they can stuff it. Yeah. DVD Film Plug says the best way to describe Ben and Arthur is the room of gay movies. The room looks more like a Hallmark movie, and Ben and Arthur looks like a cheap YouTube video.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that politely. Dr. Impossible says, but then look at Disney's films made in the early 80s, Watching the Woods, Something Wicked, and Dragon Slayer. Part of the Disney deal with Paramount, that included Popeye with Robin Williams. That Popeye film.
I've never seen it in full. I've never seen bits of it.
I just remember a part of it was Robin Williams in the water with Shelley Duvall shouting Popeye, 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 and I was like, oh, turn it off.
I think she's probably the best part of that film. I think she was like made to play that role. I think she was perfectly cast.
Olive oil.
Yeah.
I don't know who played Brutus. Is it Brutus, that bad guy in it?
Yeah.
Pluto.
Yeah. I've seen him in other movies. I think he's in Midnight Express.
Yeah. He's like the prison guard.
The prison guard. Yeah. I think he's in that Arrow movie Pieces.
Oh, right.
I think he's in that as well. I think he's like the gardener or something, like in that movie. But yeah, I can never remember his name, but I know his face. I know like all the stuff he's been in.
Yeah.
Peter says they've left out the £5 ones and charged £8 and £10 for 9 and 12. Seems to better deals at your H&B, but as far as me, I live in Sweden. Yeah, I think H&B is probably the best bet to go with Arrow, unless you as you said, Mike, you get the points.
Yeah, I think ordering direct, I think it can be good, but then it's not so good. I think the points is definitely the best part of it, but they can be quite slow to dispatch, especially during sale times, and also they charge for delivery, whereas like HMV, if you order over £20, it's free delivery. So there's some good things about ordering direct from Arrow, but there's some bad as well.
Sorry about that. Edward says, what's your favourite Sacha Baron Cohen film or TV show?
Probably Borat for me.
Yeah, I'd say Borat.
Oh, that's great. Sweeney Todd.
Oh, he's in that, isn't he? Yeah. Still need to see that.
I've got a soft spot for Ali G in the House. I kind of like that movie.
Classic.
I remember that one. I would just say Borat. I watched Bruno and turned it off after 10 minutes after one scene. I was like, nope, not watching that.
You ever see that film Grimsby?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that, but I've heard that's got a certain scene in it.
Yeah, with the elephant.
Yeah. Didn't he do one called The Dictator?
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Not his best work.
No. I was going to say he hasn't done one recently, but he has. He's done a sequel to Borat, hasn't he?
Yeah. I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right.
Hmm.
And was it? He was in like a more serious, like courtroom drama one, wasn't he, on Netflix a while back?
Yeah, Trial of the Chicago 7.
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can remember they wanted to have him as Freddie Mercury, didn't they, for Bohemian Rhapsody? That would have been interesting.
I think they didn't like the direction he wanted to take it, so I think they just sort of parted ways.
He wanted too many elephants in there.
Yeah.
Peter saying, Jules, I picked up Catfight, but I haven't watched it yet. DVD Boom Bloke says, also, Plain Dangerous wasn't released on DVD, but it's only on VHS, and even that is hard to find. It's on YouTube if you look for it. That's cool. Bumpers Movie says, I may pick up the 2 Western sets in the Arrow sale, The Complete Satana and Vengeance Trials. Anyone seen any of those films out the box sets?
Not me, no.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, out of those 2, I'd recommend the Satana one. Like they're great movies. The Vengeance Trails one is good as well. I think the first movie in that, I forget what it's called, but it's got Franco Nero as he's like the main actor in it. That one's really good. I remember the rest of them from that box set were pretty good, but out of those 2, I'd say get the Satana box set.
That's cool. I've got the Satana box set. I've only watched one out of them, but it's quite a fun film, the one I watched.
Yeah, I think all 5 of them are really fun movies, just fun spaghetti western type movies.
Yeah. Dr. Impossible says, Cora, I watched the 10 Commandments on 4K at a friend's house. The transfer looked glorious on 4K, and it looks so good because of the Vista Vision process. It looks remarkable, and skin tones and overall looks 100%. I've heard that the 10 Commandments is a really good 4K.
I think there's if anyone watched the YouTube channel, The Movie Collector, I think he's done a video on that one saying how good it was. Yeah, worth going and checking it out.
It definitely does feel like with older films they seem to benefit more than newer films for 4K.
Yeah, just because of the film, I think, more than anything, isn't it? 35mm kind of size, Nick.
Yeah.
We've got Matt B Movies here saying Evening Bumper. Nick says, I love the scene where they go to buy a TV. I'm confused.
Same.
Yeah.
Did they go to Curry's by any chance? Bumpers says, hey Matt. Cora says, I have the complete Satana box set and I've seen them all. Enjoyable if you like spaghetti westerns. Yeah. Bumper says, cheers. Soph says, I want to try and pick up Psycho 2 in the sale. Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
I love that film.
Yeah.
I've heard it's quite a good sequel, like a very decent follow-up.
It's not as good as the first, but it's still pretty solid.
It has no right to be as good as it is. Like it's a really solid movie.
Yeah.
I've got it here still sealed, so I'll have to watch it sometime. I'll eventually get round to it. Have you seen it, Ash?
I don't think I do. The trouble with me is I had such a big DVD collection when that started off, because I used to work in a DVD shop of all places when it first came out, which was a nightmare because as soon as your wages come in, you're just like straight out again with the DVDs. So I got such a big DVD collection. And I bought, every new release pretty much every week for years on years when I was younger. I didn't have any more sort of responsibilities. So I've got all these films, and I've seen most of them, I'd say, but there is quite a few that I've either seen so long ago now that when I watch them on Blu-ray again, it's like the first time because I can't remember so long ago. So possibly can't remember.
Cora says, "Yeah, I understand, but you haven't seen the Blu-ray." Peter says, "Think I'll pick up the Al Ducci tapes on my Arrow order. Anyone know if it still comes with the slipcase, or maybe it never did?" It still comes with the slipcase.
Yeah, I've seen it with a slipcase. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a blue background with like a triangle sort of face, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it still comes with a slipcase. It's a fairly recent release, I think.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, "So do pick up Psycho 2. It's a solid sequel." He's also said, "Yes, Cora, I've seen the standard Blu-ray." Peter says, £12 for my stepmother is an alien isn't exactly cheap, but I'll probably still get it. I like to think I made Arrow decide to release it since I kept suggesting it to them, both in surveys and on Facebook comments. I watched the trailer for that today. That looks very cheesy. It does.
It's not the best film.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't get the best reaction from the trailer. I thought I'd give it a watch, and I'm like, oh, nah.
Yeah, I think £12 is still a bit too much for it.
Yeah, I think really if it went down to like £7 or was it £7.99, then yeah, fair enough. Cora says, "I second the recommendation for Psycho 2." And Peter says, "So do get Psycho 2. It must be a really good film. I've got it here staring at me, so I'm going to have to watch it soon. Cora says, "Did you find the 4K? A nice upgrade to Dr. Impossible." We've got Carlos here, Eastwood Life fan. "Hi guys, Henry had the portrait of the I can't pronounce nothing tonight. Hi guys, Henry Portrait of Serial Killer is such a tough and awkward watch. I felt dirty watching it." Yeah, I've heard from a lot of people that they felt real dirty after watching it. But
yeah, I agree with that.
I think the main reason I want to watch it is because it's like Michael Rooker's in it, and he's a really good actor, isn't
he? Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. So, Saint, Cora, and Peter, I watched it recently on DVD and loved it. Perfect continuation of Norman's story. Isn't there like a Psycho 3 and 4 as well?
Yeah.
They're not great.
Yeah, they're not as good. Yeah.
Oh, I'll keep clear of them too, Anne. Peter says, "I got the early Arrow release of True Romance. If I remember correctly, it's got no bonus features, but the picture quality is good." That's cool. That release they released last year was lovely. I got the box set. It's one of my favourites in the collection. Such a great film and all. It's surprising how many big names pop up for like 5 minutes and then you never see them again. Dr. Impossible says, "Coral, by God, by far, you won't be disappointed by it. Paramount did a solid upgrade for 10 compartments." Peter says, "Rock and Roll High School is one of the few feel-good films I like." Never heard of it. Have you?
No. Rock and Roll High School.
Bumper says, "Do you enjoy stoner comedies like Cheat and Chong, Friday, Half Baked? I love them films."
I love Friday. I think Friday is hysterical. Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, if I'm honest. I think that's the only film I've seen with the two of them in. I've not seen Half Baked, but I really recommend Friday if you've not seen it. I had such a blast with that film.
Oh.
Yeah.
You seen any of them, Mike?
No, I haven't.
What about you, Ash?
No, not those. I think I think I just missed those ones because I think they're quite sort of earlier films, aren't they? If I remember rightly. I think sadly my kind of my film taste was more kind of hitting the 90s and the early 2000s. So the stoner movies I watched were things like Dude, Where's My Car, which is an awful movie, but it's sort of a soft spot for me because that's one of the ones I had growing up with.
Yeah. Never even heard of any of them films, to the surprise of no one. For me, I think the only one I would class as a stoner comedy that I really liked was like Pineapple Express, if you class that as one.
Yeah.
That's definitely a stoner comedy.
So surprisingly, it's a film that my dad actually sat through and really enjoyed.
Yeah, I like it. Makes me chuckle.
Oh yeah, Harold and Kumar films as well. Yeah, I like the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says you're looking more like a Cyberman with each passing minute, Pete, with those headphones. Yeah. By the end of the stream, I'll be saying that everyone needs upgraded or being deleted. Yeah. I thought I'd try something different with these headphones. I'll probably go back to my earbuds next week. Peter says, is Sailor Slut and Machine Gun worth getting? Anyone knows if it comes with a slip?
I've never heard of it.
It sounds like an interesting time from the title.
Yeah, I think it's an Arrow title. I think it's a Japanese film, possibly.
I think the front cover of it is like an anime front cover, and if that is the one, it does come with a slip cover.
Yeah,
it sounds like an anime, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does come with a slip cover. Bumper says, yeah, they count. I love the third one, the Christmas one. Yeah, Harold and Kumar. Peter says, Team America is awesome, if a little bit dated.
Yeah.
They're from the South Park team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they vowed never to make a second one.
Oh,
did they?
They should have done. They should have done. That would have been fun. But it wouldn't have. It would never happen these days.
No.
You know, with that one, with the Team America, that was one that I don't know if you've seen the video. I did a video where I basically on my channel where I had films that I almost never saw but I really love now, and that almost made the list because with that one, first time I saw that was with a group of work friends around one of their houses, and they'd all seen it at the cinema and I hadn't. So every time there was a joke about to hit, they were all bursting out laughing. I couldn't hear what was going on. So I just didn't get it at all. Couldn't hear afterwards. It was almost ruined for me. And I thought, what's all the fuss about? But luckily, I went back to it, and yeah, it's now one of my favourite comedies.
Yeah, it's a good film. I know my dad bought it when it first come out, and he thought it was a Thunderbirds film. He was so proved wrong then. Sub says Bumpers movies. Not sure. I have seen that one. Sub says she loves Team America. Thunderbirds on acid. Haha. Definitely. Yeah. My mum wasn't impressed when he bought that home. Bumpers says, check it out. It's well funny. Yeah, it is. Peter says something about, Andy, can you do a Buddha pose for us again? Like what?
Yeah, that's when I sat on my stool.
Oh, yeah. Carla says, guys, obviously the Marvel and the DC movies are the biggest movie box office sellers and the current trend. Guys, do you think another movie trend will shine and become the new trend of movies?
I generally don't know. Sorry, Ash.
Sorry. So I think it's got to eventually. I think they'll ride the wave of these kind of comic books. And I think already a little bit now we're starting to see. Well, I am especially the newer releases for Marvel not quite hitting the same mark as the earlier ones did for me personally, like the Eternals and such. So I think you will see a bit of a downward kind of spiral, maybe even go into their TV series a bit more with it instead, which will give more space for either DC to start taking over a bit more, or another type of film. Maybe slashers will come back. Who knows? From the 80s.
Yeah. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what Ash just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think they've not lived up to the mark of late superhero movies. I don't think. I think maybe with the exception of Spider-Man. That movie kind of made up for about 3 Marvel movies that didn't hit the mark. It just really topped things up. But yeah, no, I have no idea where it's going to go next. I think they keep trying to outdo themselves with the bigger movies. Like Spider-Man, I thought that film was tremendously ambitious, and how that movie was executed was just nothing short of a miracle. But yeah, I just don't know where they're going to go from here, because I think they have to sort of outdo that movie next with something. Maybe Doctor Strange will be the answer. I don't know, but if it burns out, you know what I have no idea what's going to take its place either.
Yeah, it does feel like after Endgame, after No Way Home, after certain titles, it feels like it's peaked. How can they top that? And it feels like, especially with like Doctor Strange and the rumors that are going about, is that they're trying to top Endgame with like almost the amount of characters appearing, or biggest crossover ever. It just feels like I kind of just prefer just a smaller, toned down version of a film than having these massive crossovers.
Yeah.
But it is the big seller at the moment. Like westerns, it'll fall out of favour soon. People will get fed up with it, I think. Probably not in the next 5 years, but probably in the next 10 years. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because I kind of think with westerns sort of got replaced by like space movies, and Star Wars sort of like was the nail in the coffin, I think, for westerns. But
yeah,
I don't know what can replace superhero movies.
No, that's true. Something that will come out of nowhere. And, Avatar.
that movie has to be something special, I think, when it comes out.
Oh, it's got to be a once in a generation film. Well, it is. We've been waiting like a whole generation for it. What about you, Mike? What do you think about like Marvel and DC films in the cinema?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what will happen afterwards. I feel like a lot of genres, they tend to have like a renaissance every 10 or 20 years. Like westerns had their time, and then they went down, and then they kind of came back again for a little bit, and it all just seems to be very up and down. But like Andy says, I'm not really too sure what can sort of replace, well, not replace, but what will be the next big thing after superhero movies. It's hard to say, to be honest.
I know, like, for a while after Harry Potter, like in the mid 2000s, early 2010s, it was like films based on books, teen books. But a lot of them didn't work out, because, like, was it the Maze Runner and the Insurgent ones? They just flopped.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see whatever will take its place. But we could be sitting here in 30 years' time still talking about Doctor Strange 35.
Well, it's like every six or 7 years we get a new Batman movie. It just doesn't seem to be, any signs of it on its way out.
No, if they still keep producing the money, they're still going to make them. Yeah. That's the thing.
I just think like superheroes are too big of a marketing name, if you know what I mean, to pass up on.
Yeah.
Like I think Marvel's best seller is obviously Spider-Man, and I think DC it's Batman. And if you're going to make a movie with those names attached to it, it's going to sell.
Yeah. absolutely. We have Peter saying, America, fuck yeah, coming again to save the motherfucking world. That song's so awesome. Oh, yeah, definitely. Peter says, I hate how the new Arrow page now doesn't show the release dates when you browse it. Really? Odd. I know, like, with the Arrow stuff, if you pre-order one title, but order it with a load of titles that come out now, they hold them back until your title release, which kind of seems a bit odd to me.
Yeah, I think it's because they class it as one order, because I think if you pay just the one delivery charge, then they're just gonna put it all together, and they only send it out once it's all available. So it's not the best, because you can either just do that and wait, or you'd have to order it, both of them separately, but have to pay 2 separate delivery charges. It's a bit annoying.
It is a bit odd. Got Luke saying, how's it going, guys? I'm here watching and saw Hacksaw Ridge for the first time the other day, and it's an absolute brilliant movie. Have you guys seen it? It's an incredible story to what a movie it is. It's a Mel Gibson film, isn't it? Starring Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it, but I've heard so many positive things about it. I'm not the biggest into war films, but it's one of those ones I want to watch.
Right, I don't think you have to be necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be into war films particularly for that one. But you can probably get away with that one. I wouldn't class myself as a big war fan, but it was really good.
Oh. Isn't he like something like he doesn't want to kill anybody? Am I thinking that's right?
Yeah, he's like a pacifist. He won't handle a gun. But yeah, it's a phenomenal movie. I love it. I think it's great. It's got a great supporting cast in it as well. You know, Sam Worthington and Vince Vaughn. It's great in that movie.
Brilliant.
I just think it's a fantastic film. Mel Gibson is great as well behind the camera. Just loved it.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite war movie, but it's pretty good.
Cool. Right. Jill says, has anyone seen Morbius yet?
No.
I'm kind of not in a rush either.
No, I think it's what we were just saying. Like, they don't, you're not inspired to go and see these big new Marvel movies at the minute, are you? You're kind of just going to hold back, I think.
From the trailers, some of the trailers look good, but some of the things I've heard, I'm just going to wait until it comes out. Probably pick up when it's cheaper. We've got Surf saying, Ash, I am from Colchester, for context, so about half an hour in a car from Sudbury. Not Roy's Rolls, haha. It's a cheap supermarket with a lovely cafe.
Yeah. I used to work in Colchester. Yeah, know that well.
Nice. I'm actually quite intrigued by Roy's now. Is there one near me?
You have to search them up after you come on.
Yeah, I probably have to. Jill says, hi, lovely Peter, how are you? Stand silence. Jill says, I watched Dunkirk last night. Pretty good film. What do you guys think of it? You like it, Andy?
Yeah, I like it. You know, I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan, but I do think that's one of the movies that I enjoy more than others. Yeah,
that's good. What about you, Mike?
Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it looks great. I think the cinematography is beautiful. I just wasn't really a fan of, the whole, it's like the war, that battle from like 3 different perspectives, isn't it? All at different times of the day or whatever it was. And I wasn't really a fan of the approach, to be honest. But it's a great looking film.
Yeah. What about you, Ash?
Similar to Mike, actually. I'm kind of almost opposite to Andy, really, on this one. So it's probably, I do like Christopher Nolan a lot, but it's probably one of his least favourite for me. I don't really enjoy it that much. Yeah, I've got it in the collection and I will watch it. But yeah, not really for me, that one.
Yeah,
I think its visuals are the forefront, and it doesn't really have much of a plot. That maybe it's just sort of things that happen at one particular time.
Yeah.
I definitely do agree. Got it when it came out. Got it for Christmas for my dad. We watched it Christmas Day. Yeah, we could not get into it. The story wasn't that engrossing. It looked great, but just didn't do it for me. It's definitely one of my least favorite Christopher Nolan films that I've seen. But then it could be due to the fact that my dad was so obsessed with watching this film when it came out on DVD. We watched the trailer about 30, 40 times. So probably by the time I got to watch the film, I was so fed up with seeing the trailer. We'll have to give it a rewatch sometime. But honestly, I just kind of preferred 1917 more. I thought that was a much better film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dr. Impossible says, are any of you into Universal TV movies from the 70s, like The Elevator, Trapped, The Longest Night? I was going to say Either Cat, but as it was released as a film, Universal produced some corking thrillers.
I've not heard of any of those, to be honest.
I know they did a load of TV movies in the 70s, but I've never seen any of them. I remember my dad talked about them quite a few times, but yeah. Peter says, this will Rachel's picked up a good haul of stuff, very cheap from 2 big charity shops that I'll sell so I can buy films I want. That's brilliant. Cora says, what's your favourite film noir?
I've got one. It's not quite a film noir. It's probably more of a sci-fi film, but I think it has a lot of film noir elements. But Dark City, I think that's just a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorites.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
Oh, what was that?
I thought you were going to say Blade Runner, because that's probably mine.
Yeah,
it's not really a film noir, but it just has all those film noir elements to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's the only film I could think of. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, probably Blade Runner for me. Yeah.
Ash?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Blade Runner. It's the first one that comes in your head.
Yeah.
I have seen some from like 40s and 50s years ago, but I can't remember the names. I think there was one called The Blue or the Black Dahlia I've seen. That was pretty good.
The Black Dahlia, I think there is one, yeah.
Double Indemnity is pretty good. I like that film.
It's just Luke says, I meant to say Hacksaw Ridge last night. That's cool. Carl says, I have seen it, but when I did it, I had a blind colleague with me and had to describe everything to him. Not the best way of watching a movie for the first time.
Yeah.
Carlos says, movie face-offs. Prefer movies, guys. Rocky to Raging Bull, Rambo 2 versus Commander, and Lethal Weapon versus Die Hard. Have fun answering. Ooh.
I think I'd like to see Rambo 2 versus Commando. I just don't know. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Have we got to pick one?
I think we've got to pick one out of Rocky and Raging Bull, Rambo and Commando, and Lethal Weapon.
Okay. I'd have to say Rocky, Commando, and Die Hard.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, probably the same. Yeah.
I would say Rocky, Commando, and I'm just going to say Lethal Weapon for something a little bit different, but Die Hard. Edward says, "What's your favourite Ewan McGregor film?"
I haven't seen it in a long time, but maybe The Island. I think it was Scarlett Johansson in with him.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the trailer for it again the other day, and I couldn't. There were so many bits in it I couldn't remember, but I remember when I watched it, I really enjoyed it.
It's a Michael Bay film, that, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Surprising. I didn't think it was him, but it was, yeah.
I love Train Spotting. I think that's fantastic. Revenge of the Sith, I think is great.
Oh, my favourite are the prequels.
Yeah, probably those.
Mike?
This might be a surprising one to a lot of people. I know you're not a fan of this film, Andy, but I love Moulin Rouge. I just have a great time with that movie.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think I've seen that years ago. Isn't that the one with? Is it Catherine Zeta-Jones in it?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right. Get them two mixed up. As for me, I'll probably say, I know there's The Impossible. That was really good.
Yeah, it's a great film.
And obviously him in Star Wars. What was the other thing I was going to say? Wasn't he in Train Spotting as well? There was another film. Was at the top, Doctor Sleep. Is that any good?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Impossible says Paul Al Smith, who was the actor who played Bruno in Popeye film, and Mike's right about Shelley Duvall. Popeye was another highly expensive Disney film that nobody wanted to direct. Yeah, I can remember it was quite a flop, weren't it?
Yeah.
I just think critically it was just awful. People didn't like it.
I remember it was one of those films. I don't know if you guys remember, like years ago when you got like the paper and it had like the TV guide and it would give like star rating for movies, but if it was a terrible film, it would have like a bomb logo or something next to it. And I remember seeing Popeye and it had the bomb logo next to it, so I was like, oh, I'll steer clear of that film then.
Yeah, I can remember that. I think we watched it on Channel 5 when it was on. It was just like, oh. Actually, the most entertaining thing about that film was the adverts in between to break up the monotony. Peter says Train Spotting. I haven't seen Train Spotting 2, but I've heard that's a pretty decent sequel.
Yeah.
It's all right, yeah.
It's kind of like Psycho 2. It's just like not as good as the first, but it's still a solid movie.
Oh, cool. Dr. Impossible says best Gary Oldman performance.
Take your pick.
There's so many, isn't there?
He's a great actor for me, that because I love him in pretty much nearly everything. He's like Sid and Nancy, Leon, Fifth Element, all of that stuff. But for me, the one performance where I thought he disappeared the most, and it was just the character, was True Romance. Drexel.
Yeah.
I just thought he was, he vanished, and it was just, you were just watching this terrifying pimp.
You couldn't believe it was him, could you?
No.
It's unbelievable.
No. Superb.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I'd have to say True Romance as well. I know he's only got like 2 or 3 scenes, but he's just incredible in that film. And I remember he scared me in that movie. Like I just remember thinking I would not want to be in the same room as that guy.
Yeah. Very unsettling character.
Yeah.
Definitely. What about you, Ash?
I'd probably say in the Dark Knight series, for me, but maybe also The Darkest Hour. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Very good.
Won him the Oscar, that.
Yeah. I do you like him in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? I know this is like a very slow paced sort of like political thriller, but I really do like that. But I'll probably go for me, Sirius Black in Harry Potter because that was the first ever role I saw him in.
There's a terrible film, but he's the best part of it. Lost in Space.
I've heard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I saw that at the cinema.
So
Yeah.
did I, yeah.
That's just aged me quite well.
Cara says everything okay with the coffin person in the background.
Yeah. That was my girlfriend, sorry. She was sitting right next to me.
Cara says, wasn't Popeye directed by Altman?
Yeah. Robert Altman.
Yeah.
He put Shelley Duvall in a lot of his movies, I think.
Did he?
Yeah. Nashville, I think she was in that.
Because I was reading up about Shelley Duvall, like her relationship with like what's his name? Who directed The Shining? I don't know how
Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick, and like the whole stuff going behind the scenes there was very, very bad for her. Terrible experience.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that nowadays.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, the stuff I was hearing was like dreadful. He was bullying her essentially.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying it's wrong now. It wasn't wrong. It wasn't right then either. You know?
No. If
It
that
was
was
essentially
nowadays, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It just it was essentially like abuse in the workplace. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Never would have been able to happen this day and age.
Yeah.
No. Peter says, anyone else notice how the stuff from Screenbound, Nucleus, and Severin that are usually priced £6 on an hour sale are now £10 this time?
Yeah.
I'm going to gather Zavi is going to be blamed for this, probably.
Yeah, possibly.
I've noticed like the standard edition of an Arrow release has now gone up to 18 quid, which is not worth it.
No.
Yeah.
I know I got the Frankenstein, I got it the other week, but I had like a voucher on eBay, so I got it for about 14 quid, so it wasn't too bad. But that was a film I wanted, but I'd never pay full price, only in a sale.
Yeah.
Bumpers Movies also saying Drexel has to be my favourite Gary Oldman role, but it blows my mind that he's Mason Berger in Hannibal.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I forgot
Under heavy makeup. Yeah.
Bram Stoker's Dracula as well. Another brilliant performance.
I love that film. Yeah.
So good. I don't think the man's done a bad role. I think he's been brilliant in every film he's been in.
He's great in Sid and Nancy as well.
I've heard a lot of positive things about that one. I've been wanting to watch that for a little while. Pete says, I'm thinking about getting that Jose Lara set for 30 quid. Any good? Jose Lara set?
Don't know that one.
Sure.
No, I don't.
You know, I haven't got a clue. Dr. Impossible says, Corey, yes, Altman was paid $6 million to direct the film. You could say the same about Joseph Sargent with Jaws of Revenge. Great TV director was Sargent. Coral says, I knew it. I never heard of Mr. Sargent, but maybe because I haven't seen any of the Jaws sequels.
I used to love the sequels as a kid. But now they're just terrible.
I just watched the first one. I never went to the sequels. I just heard so many bad things.
Yeah.
The second's not bad. It's watchable.
Yeah, it's the best out of the sequels too. But it's nowhere near the patch of the original.
Yeah. I'm probably one of those few people that think that actually prefers The Revenge over Free. I think Free is unwatchable in places, especially with that 3D. But Yeah, I do enjoy the revenge a little bit more, even though it is bad.
Yeah, I heard there was one that was 3D. Was it just purposely made 3D and just to capitalize on some sort of 3D gimmick at the time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Peter says, Cora, are you sure Arrow hasn't connected to iOSS? A friend talked to their customer support and claimed to. You should ask them. Yeah, that's fair enough. Dr. Impossible says, directed one of my favourite films from the 70s, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Ooh.
I love that film.
That's getting a 4K, isn't it? That's cool. I've only ever seen the remake with, is it Denzel Washington and John Travolta?
Yeah.
I didn't mind that, but heard the original's really good.
Yeah, I love the original. I think it's fantastic. I've not seen the remake.
No. Who's in the original one?
Robert Shaw.
Oh,
that's
good.
Oh, I always forget his name. Oh, the guy who plays the neighbour in Dennis the Menace. He's in The Odd Couple.
Oh,
yeah, I know you mean.
Walter Mayhew. Walter Mayhew, I want to say.
Yeah,
He's
him, yeah.
He's in it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's a great film. I love it. Taking a Pelham.
Cora says, I've heard of that now. Don't think I've seen it. We'll try it now. Peter says, fuck you guys. I love My Stepmother in Alien, and I'm so glad I got the upgrade to DVD. Well, brilliant news, Peter.
Yeah.
It's got a great cast, but the execution is just so bad. I just can't get
that's
behind
great
that
stuff.
movie.
It's great stuff. You can get your film on Blu-ray, and it's a nice edition, so good on you.
Yeah.
And Arrow listened to you and released it. That's one thing as well. Yeah. We've got Niels here saying, hi guys, just saw the new Doctor Strange trailer and noticed a shot in the trailer where Doctor Strange looked like a Deadite from Army of Darkness.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's cool. Yeah, I've seen like many trailers of like pricking all these different references, and I'm like, oh. I do wonder whether this film is just going to be constant reference overload, because that's all I'm hearing about the film.
Yeah. I'm worried it's going to be like Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Everything is thrown at you.
Yeah. I mean, I love the first Doctor Strange film. I think it's a great film, and I've been looking forward to this, but all I'm hearing is like most character appearances, look at that reference, look at that reference. I don't mind it, but I think that's going to be like the center focus, relying too much on that. We've got Rhodey here saying, sorry I'm late, sexy lads, I was watching The Burden. Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
Fun slasher.
I've never seen it. It's one of the ones on Arrow I want to pick up. So you'd recommend it?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. It's for me. It's got one great scene in it on the raft.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this raft scene, but I don't know what happens. I'm just like, oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, the less you know, the better for that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Dr. Impossible says Carl will do Walter Matthew and Robert Shaw in the thriller. And New York Subway, Reservoir Dogs was inspired by 1, 2, 3 by the names of the characters like Blue, Red, etc. and Reservoir. Carl says, Rhodey, do you hate it as much as Jason? Oh yeah, because Jason isn't keen on it, is he?
No.
Peter, not even Andy has seen Rock and Roll High School.
I haven't heard of it.
No.
Sorry to say.
Yeah. Dr. Impossible says, best Betty Davis film. I've shown my flipping age now. God help me now. Voyager and Dark Victory for me. Oh, I'm coughing more than I'm speaking this stream. Sorry about this. Yeah. Pete says, it's kind of impossible to say if something necessarily comes with a slip from Arrow just because you saw it in CX with a slip. But yeah, it means if anyone got it recently from Arrow and if it came with it. Chrissy saying, Playtendoguy, you excited? A character looks like you in the new season of Stranger Things. Surprised this will be the last season? Wait, what? I look like somebody in... What?
Didn't a new trailer came out for it this week?
Yeah, I've heard
I've
it come out yesterday, I think. Yeah. I have no idea of Stranger Things, Chrissy. I've only ever seen a few episodes of it. But have you guys seen it? Are you a big fan of it?
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I like them.
That's great. Dr. Impossible says Andy must have seen a few Betty Davis films.
I have, but I can't for the life of me remember them. From what I've seen, I want to say Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, I've seen that. That's good.
I've seen Dark Victory. But yeah, I'm when it comes to classic Hollywood, like I'm not the best at remembering names and things. But yeah, I've definitely seen her in some movies, but I can't for life remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I know the name, but I'm like, what films does she star in? And then I'll see posters and pictures, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Because I associate Bette Davis with more of that song by Kim Carnes. Bette Davis.
Same here. Yeah. That's all I'm thinking of in my head now.
Yeah.
Jill says favourite war film for her is 1917, Casualties of War, Platoon, Hamburger Hill, Full Metal Jacket. For me, they're awesome. I know Casualties of War is on the premiums, and that's quite a rough watch, if I remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox, isn't it?
It's a great movie, but yeah, it's one I used to watch quite a lot when I was a kid. But as an adult, I'm like, what were you thinking when you were watching that? Because it's really dark and upsetting.
Yeah. So, what are your favourite war films? What's yours, Andy?
War films. I know it might sound a bit daft, but probably Return of the King.
Yeah, I can get that. That's a good pick.
Not based on a real war, but yeah,
it's true. It's a sort of a war film, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
I would probably go with Platoon. I think that's a fantastic film. I just like how it's one of those war movies that kind of like the American soldiers, they're not portrayed as being, like perfect people. They're kind of like a lot of them are quite horrible. And yeah, I just kind of I like how honest that movie is. And I could say the same for probably Casualties of War as well. But yeah, I think my favorite is probably Platoon.
What about you, Ash?
Yeah, so I'm not a massive war kind of film guy, but there's pretty much the classics, I suppose. I like the newer one, the 1917. Really enjoyed that one. Platoon as well. Full Metal Jacket. Wind Talkers as well, which I haven't seen in a long time, but I remember that was quite good. I watched it.
Yeah.
For me, I'd probably say either 1917 or Saving Private Ryan. But to be fair, that really depressed me the last time I watched it. It did.
Yeah, the end of that movie is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Born on the 4th of July as well. I love that. It's a great war film.
I need to see that. That's the Tom Cruise one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked that up from Tesco a while ago for £1, and I've been meaning to watch it. Yeah, I'll have to give it a go. Luke says, what's everyone thinking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Would any of you guys see it? Have you seen the first one yet? What's your thoughts on it, guys?
I'm planning to try and go and see the second one this weekend because I really did enjoy the first one. It's not great, but I was entertained by it, and I was really impressed with what the trailers for Sonic 2 brought. So yeah, I'm going to try and see it at the weekend.
That's good. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one. I only watched the first one for the first time quite recently, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It's probably not one of those films I'll go back to all that often, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. What about you, Ash?
Yes, I haven't seen the second one yet either, but yeah, I did enjoy the first one. I think Movie World did a video on a review the other day, and a bit like him, I grew up on the Sega Mega Drive games for it, so there's that kind of like nostalgic connection for me in those. And I think the first one came out during lockdown? One of the lockdowns we had?
Just before.
Yeah, just before.
Just before. I think I remember seeing it, yeah. And that was one of the first things I think I had up on because I got my projector over that time as well. And that was one of the first things I put up on there. So, yeah, pretty good memory of watching the first one.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Really want to go and see it, but I'll probably wait until it comes out on Blu-ray. Really like the first one. It was a pleasant surprise. Glad they fixed Sonic design, because that first trailer, that was nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
There was rumours that was a PR stunt.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumours of that. I heard that to get people interested in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You never know.
No,
no, you never do.
But the film, when it came out, was a pleasant surprise. Jim Carrey was back to his 90s best, and it was just a really pleasant film.
Yeah.
Carl says Dr. Impossible, The Petrified Forest, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Yeah, Bette Davis.
DVD and Film Bloke says, I think 86 and 87 had some of the best Vietnam War films.
Yeah.
Jill says, oh, Peter, do tell us more. Dr. Impossible says, Hamburger Hill was a very underrated back in 1987, thanks to Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Only recently heard about Hamburger Hill. Don't really know nothing about it at all.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
I've not seen it.
Nope. Jill says, DVD and Film Bloke, don't think I've heard of that one. Obviously, Hamburger Hill. Peter says, Full Metal Jacket is an amazing title.
It's one of those movies where I kind of prefer the first half, and the second half doesn't really do much for me because that first half is so good.
Yeah. I noticed because I was the same as you, really. I liked the first half better, but I noticed that when I got it on 4K, it made me realize how good that film looks in places, like especially in the second half. There's some great cinematography in the second half, and it did make me appreciate like the movie as a whole a lot more when I watched it on 4K.
Oh, okay.
All right. What about you, Ash? What do you think of Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, really, again, it's one of those ones I've seen quite a while back now, but I remember really liking it. So again, first half sticks with me more than it does the second, to be honest. But yeah, really good. Classic.
Yeah. I've seen bits and pieces like on TV, like the drill sergeant guy, Ernie, whatever his name is. Like the whole talking down to the soldiers. I've seen them bits, but I've never seen the film all the way through. It's one of those ones that's on the premiums that I want to get hold of. Dr. Impossible says, I'm with you, Mike. Dark City is quality all the way.
Yeah, love it.
Yep.
That's quite hard to get hold of now, isn't it? I think on Blu-ray.
Yeah. I've got the Blu-ray, but yeah, I think I saw it in CEX, and I can't remember how much it was, but I think it was more than £15. It's quite expensive. Yeah,
it's quite rare to get.
Yeah,
it's a great film.
Peter says, Jules, what did you think of the scene with the Vietnamese prostitute and Full Metal Jacket? Completely go over my head. Well, judging by your reactions, not very good. Cara says, especially the theatrical cut of Dark City, really great version.
Yeah, I think I prefer the director's cut. I can't really remember what the differences are, but I think I go more with the director's cut.
Yeah.
Do you get both cuts on there, Mike?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I don't know whether it's you or me, but when you get films with like multiple cuts of films, I'll just stick to one cut and never actually watch the other cuts to see if there's any difference.
Yeah. I think once. Sorry, Pete.
Because we were talking about that arrow set that you wanted, and you were saying like it comes with several different versions, but you said yourself you'd only watch one cut.
Yeah, I think once I've seen what, like, if I watch both of them and there's one I prefer more than the other, I'm always just gonna watch it. I'm never gonna when I want to watch the film, I'm never gonna want to watch the other cut. I'm always gonna just want to watch my preferred one. I'm never really gonna chop and change every time I watch it.
No. DVD from Filmblock says, Jules, I mean, some of the best Vietnam War films were made between 86 and 87. Dr. Impossible agrees with Caro. Pete says, actually, there's two scenes with that in the movie when I think about one where the boy's camera gets stolen and one more scene.
I was thinking about the bit where the boy gets his camera stolen.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
Coral says, favourite Judy Garland and or Joan Crawford movie?
Probably going to have to be Wizard of Oz for Judy Garland.
Yeah, same here.
That's an undisputed classic. Again, Joan Crawford. I want to say the Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I think she's in that. But
I think you might be right. But Judy Garland, I'm just like thinking Wizard of Oz. That's the first thing that comes in my head.
There's a couple I've seen her with. She was in, I think, one of the original versions of A Star Is Born, which I really
she was.
Like.
Yeah.
Meet Me in St. Louis. That's actually a good film. But Wizard of Oz is the standout. Well, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Peter says, I like Bram Stoker's Dracula a lot. Yeah, it's a brilliant film. Really do like it. Dr. Impossible says, shame it was a movie for McGregor. McGregor was a rather good in a TV drama series called Dennis Potter called Lipstick on Your Collar. He was terrific in that.
I've never heard of it.
I have heard of it. I think my mum had seen it before. She quite liked that. That's quite a few years ago, I think. Cora says, Michael, Andy, would any of you two be so kind and sing the Ghost in the Shell opening song? Thanks.
I don't know how it. Yeah, I don't know how it goes.
And even if I did, no. Sorry, Cora. I can't sing for shit.
I'm just like, I didn't even know Ghost in the Shell had an opening song that you could sing. I'm just, wow. Carl says, chant one making of a cyborg, that is. Oh, that must be what the song is. Never heard of it. Haha.
No.
Carlos says, guys, which movie scared the crap out of you back in the day? Mine was The Omen. I could walk past a church without looking up. And Damien Omen 2, the Raven scene, and the ice scene. Ooh. There's quite a few.
I think I know mine.
What is yours then, Ash?
So mine was, I think there's the only ones that really kind of like get under my skin, and I think a lot of it is to do with like when you watch it and how you watch it affects you a lot more as well. So I watched this film when I was in the house on my own. I was quite young at the time as well, and yeah, I think my parents were away, so it was only me in the house. And I watched Paranormal Activity on my own, late at night, really tired, with the surround sound. And that's one of those films that just kind of like gets under your skin because it's the kind of what you can't see. Yeah, I didn't think it affected me that much. And then when the film finished, I realized I was putting on every light in the house just to go up to bed. Do you know what I mean? Like every light. I wanted to see everywhere in the house.
Yeah. I've heard that film has a lot of effects on a lot of people. After watching it, they find it hard to sleep.
Yeah, I was all right after. It was the initial straight after the viewing, and then when I heard like you start hearing noises in your own house, like creaking and stuff, and you're paranoid. You're just like, right, go to bed. Just go to bed.
Oh. Yeah. What about you, Andy?
One for me is probably Dawn of the Dead. I don't find it a scary movie, but it was just kind of like, after seeing it for the first time when I was a kid, it was just kind of like the aftermath. I don't know why, I just got really scared thinking that could actually happen for some reason. Just being a really daft kid. And then I kind of like shunned the movie for years. And just kind of like, I was like, I'm never going back to that film. It terrified me because the movie doesn't really end with a resolution. It kind of just ends. And I was thinking, where's the happy ending? Where's the joy happy ending? And especially because the director wanted to end that movie completely differently and completely horrifically. But yeah, it just terrified me. Even to this day, I have to kind of like mentally prep myself to rewatch it. Yeah, it's just one that stuck with me from a kid. Just terrified me.
Yeah, I've never seen really any of them ones. I remember watching one on TV and a bloke got pulled out the lift and pulled apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which one that is.
Yeah, that's Dawn.
Oh, is it? I remember watching that, and that scared me quite a bit. I was quite young then, but I've never seen it all the way through. But I've heard it's quite depressing, shall I say, the ending.
Yeah, I think all three of them, or the first, that trilogy, they all have depressing sort of outlooks throughout the movie. But yeah, the ending to the first one and the second one in particular are quite dark.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
There's two that come to mind for me, and they're both Stephen King TV movies. And the first one is the Shining TV movie, because I think I saw that when I was like 6 or 7, and there was just some moments in it that really scared me, like the scene with the lady in the bathtub. And the other movie is Salem's Lot. I think we've talked about it before, but there's that one scene where the kid floats towards the window, and that terrified me like nothing else. And I remember going to bed that night, and I was just constantly like staring at even though my curtains were closed, I was just constantly staring at my window, thinking, "Is there something there?" Yeah, it terrified me. But going back to this comment, the scene in Damien 2 for me was probably the one with the guy in the elevator when he gets cut in half. I think that was probably the freakiest scene in the movie for me.
Oh, I haven't seen none of the Omen films. That's another series I need to watch. Oh, isn't there one with Sam Neill?
Yeah, that's the third one.
Yeah.
Right. You were saying, Ash?
So I was going to say, have you seen the original Poltergeist trilogy?
No, I do have the first one.
Yeah, because that's another one. Like thinking about it, and probably the first one and the second one. Like, there's a few bits in that I watched them way too young, and there's again, it's that thing that you can't always see. That's probably freakier than actually seeing something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For me, there was like two films that always scared me a lot. One of them was Child's Play. Like, basically, the doll coming to life, the Chucky doll coming to life, always used to terrify me as a child. But I watched it like last year. It doesn't. I'm like, why was he scared of it as a child? Why was he? But I know it was always like something coming to life that always used to scare me as a child. And E.T. for some reason, I was absolutely petrified of E.T. My dad's friend had an E.T. doll in his living room, and I would not go in that living room until the thing disappeared. My dad just said, "E.T.'s buggered off back home." Oh, I'll go in the room now, and then I finally watched E.T. when I was about 7 or 8, I think. And after watching it, I just cried my eyes out. Oh, I don't want E.T. to go home. Oh. But there was like a few other films like that of the Dead film, like all the gore and that. A few like ones that I've caught glimpses of on TV that like terrifying, but didn't really know what they were.
Yeah, there's bits from movies I'd say that aren't necessarily horror movies that terrified me as a kid as well.
Yeah.
Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit scared the shit out of me at the end.
Definitely.
Absolutely terrified me shitless. And another Christopher Lloyd film, the first Addams Family, when he plays Gordon, he scared me shitless. Just absolutely terrified me as a kid.
Yeah. I know at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when I watched that as a kid, that scared me a bit, like the whole mountain faces thing.
Yeah.
But I was quite young watching that.
I was scared as well of the Titanic scene from Ghostbusters 2. That just terrified me. And the bit with the heads as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That scared me as a kid.
Dr. Impossible says, ask Andy if he's seen any Altman films called Brewster McCloud, a serial film that proves a young boy can fly. Altman did that brilliant film, The Long Goodbye.
I've not seen any of those. I've heard of them, but I don't think I've seen. I might have seen The Long Goodbye. I can't remember.
I'm pretty certain The Long Goodbye's on Arrow Academy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's got Elliot Gould in it.
Oh.
Right, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but I think it's one of the first movies that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in. I think he played like a really small part as like a bodyguard or something. I might be wrong, but I'm sure it's that movie.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah, I've not seen. I've seen a few of Altman's movies, but I've not seen those. I think one of my favorite ones by him is Shortcuts. I love that film.
Yeah.
It's got a great cast. The Player as well. I think that's a fantastic film.
I've heard of that one. That's pretty good. Yeah. Luke says, how are you finding Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga game on Switch so far, mate? And how far you gotten into it? And yes, it looks absolutely brilliant on the PS5. I'm loving it so far. Right. I've got a little addiction to it. I've put about 30 hours into it in the past week.
Wow.
Really enjoying it. It's so much fun. I'm nearly completed the game. Probably might actually be my favorite game of the year so far. It's just so much fun. It makes me want to rewatch all the Star Wars films, and it's made The Last Jedi bearable. That's good in my book.
So it's a miracle worker.
Yeah, it is. It just piss takes the whole film, and I'd rather watch that now. So I'll just watch the cutscenes for The Last Jedi from Lego Star Wars. Dr. Impossible says, Dead Ringer is also a very underrated doppelganger film with Betty Davis, and it's very cleverly played out by Davis and the director. Warner released it on the Warner Archive range.
Wow, okay.
Oh, that's cool. Rody says, "How dare you, Jason? The Burning is the movie of all time. This type of blasphemy shall not be experted."
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. It wasn't for him.
No, we all like different things.
Yeah.
Coral says, "Warner Brothers also released Dead Ringer on Blu-ray. Haven't seen it yet." Oh, that's cool. We've got Edward Coppock here saying, "What's your favourite Ben Stiller movie?"
Something About Mary.
Yeah, that's a good film. I'm going to say Night at the Museum. I used to love that as a kid.
I'll probably say Meet the Parents, the first one.
Yeah.
I've got two movies, and ironically, these movies are both directed by him as well. Reality Bites and The Cable Guy.
Oh, I didn't know he was in there. That's
Yeah,
cool.
he has a very small role in The Cable Guy as he plays two twins who, as children, was star of like a sitcom, and then as they got older, they both had troubles, and one ended up murdering the other one. It's just a really silly little plot line to the movie that I enjoyed.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like Reality Bites too. I think that's really underrated. It's very 90s, but I do enjoy that movie quite a lot.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
We've got Keith here saying, "Hello to all of you tonight. I hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for joining, Keith. Hope you're well. Brilliant stream last night. Yeah. We've got Niels here saying, "My favourite Betty Davis film is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane." Peter says that Laura's set consists of whirlpool, vampires, and some third film. No one here got it?
No.
I muted myself. I don't think I've ever heard of any of them.
I think I've heard of that vampires film.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually seen the box set listed, or never really gave it a good look. Dr. Impossible says, "Check it out, interesting film." DVD and Film Bloke says, "I don't think I've ever seen a Betty Davis film." Niels, camp turned up to 11. Dr. Impossible says, "Better start. Great actress would bite." Yeah. Chrissy says, "I think you'll find it interesting that season 4 took 3 years to release and 2 full years to shoot. The actors look like they've aged them 10 by the end of filming." Oh, Stranger Things?
Yeah.
What? All right. Dr. Impossible says, I will do at some point." That's cool. Josh says, "Hi guys." Hi Josh. Hope you're well.
Hi Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Jill says, "Sean Penn was horrific in Casualties of Wars. Sonic 2 is funny, Andy."
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Sean Penn's a fucking horrible little twat in that film.
Yeah, I've heard he's not the nicest of people in that film. I'm like, ooh. It's out of print now on H&B Premiums, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
He's just like so manipulative as well with like the other members of the squad. Like what he gets them to do is just he's just horrible.
All right. My dad just come down here for some more food before he goes back to bed.
I keep expecting your dad to be in the background, Pete. Like, is it in Guardians of the Galaxy where he's eating them crisps really silent, like quick, really slowly, like he's invisible?
Be him with a cold tin of soup. He'll be sitting there going like that. What's he getting? He's got 2 tins of soup out. He's already had soup today and 5 hot cross buns. He's had about 11 bags of crisps today as well.
Well, Bob Geldof's going to have to put on another concert.
Cora says, I bought a DVD box set of Betty Davis somewhere last year and can't remember any of the movies. Think she was fine in them, but movies themselves, not so much. I think with her, it's like what you said, Andy, is that song, Betty Davis Eyes.
Yeah,
Every time you think of her, you think of that song.
Yeah. It's the same with Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I always think of the Rod Stewart song, Baby Jane.
Yeah, same here. So, now Baby Jane is playing in my head now, and I'm like, oh, what a great song. Carlos has bought another one of these movie face-off questions. Psycho versus Halloween, Dawn of the Dead versus Day of the Dead, Alien versus The Thing, and The Burning versus Friday the 13th Part 2.
This one's harder. I'll say Halloween, Dawn of the Dead, The Thing, and The Burning.
Ooh.
I'll say Psycho, Day of the Dead, The Thing, and Friday the 13th Part 2.
Ash?
Yeah, I'm going to go with probably the ones I've watched the most will be my answers, I guess. So Halloween, Dawn of the Dead, Alien, and then Friday the 13th Part 2.
Cool. For me, I'm just going to say the 2 that I've seen. Like, I'm going to go Halloween and then The Thing, because I haven't seen Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, or Burden, or Friday the 13th. Never seen any of the Friday the 13th yet. Still meaning to get round to it.
They're very that Alien versus The Thing. That's probably the hardest one on there.
I do agree with that. But they're so both brilliant films. It's hard to choose. Yeah. Dr. Impossible says The Thin Red Line, Malik, South Pacific War, probably his best film since Badlands, though not Vietnam.
Yeah, great film.
Badlands is fantastic. I love that film.
I got The Thin Red Line in like a DVD double pack from like One Below for like 20p. Never seen it yet, but I'm going to gather it's a really good film.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, I like it, yeah.
Oh. Jill says, see, a lot of people don't like A Clockwork Orange. For me, it's a masterpiece.
I think it's one of those movies that you need to make a informed decision on it after multiple viewings.
Yeah.
I don't think you can watch it once and make your mind up.
Yeah, it's the bits I've seen of it. It seems like a very out there film. The bits I've seen, I've never fully watched it, so I can't really say anything. But I've heard a lot. It seems to be a 50-50 title. Some people love it, some people not so keen.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Jules though.
Yeah. Would you, Ash?
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones I had on VHS when it first came out, and I watched it quite a few times back then. And I think it's not one I've gone back to since. I want to, and I picked it up recently actually on the premium collection. But yeah, I don't think there's any denying it's a good film. It's just whether or not it's for you. It's one of those ones that it is a good film. It's just whether your opinion on it is one way or the other.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's not one of those films I go back to all that often, if I'm being honest. But when I do watch it, I do like it. I do appreciate it for what it is. So yeah.
I just really like the supporting characters in it. I think
Yeah.
some of them are just really, really watchable, and the lines that they have in the movie are really, really fun and interesting. Like one of my favorite characters in it is the prison guard because I just think he's hysterical in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that with him that it really makes me laugh when I can't remember what he's like. Malcolm McDowell's he's like on a stage in the prison, and he just like slaps him on the face, and Malcolm McDowell's just like dead calmly like, "What did you do that for, sir?"
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just like little moments like that just make me laugh.
Yeah, like it does that whole scene where the whole stage thing is happening. Like the actor who plays the prison guard, he doesn't have any lines in that scene, but his face is just so expressive with everything you see. Like he conveys so much emotion in his face, like happiness, shock, horror. Everything in that scene is just he steals that scene for me. He has no words, and yet his face is just says it all.
Now, I'm going to ask a question. It's the parent test. Is it a film to watch with the parents?
Absolutely not. Well, I did. I have watched that film with my parents. So.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, my mum got me it from like Sainsbury's because she said she wanted to watch it, and she said, "Oh, it'd be a nice film for us to watch together." And I'm like, I don't know.
I'd say all of the worst parts are like mostly in the beginning of the movie. I think as the movie goes on, it gets a bit easier to watch. I'd say. Just put the first 20-30 minutes of it on by yourself, and then your parents, they can watch the rest of it.
Yeah. I remember when I told my dad about it, he thought it was something to do with Terry's chocolate oranges.
I only found out why it was called Clockwork Orange from watching John's video.
Yeah.
That was the only that's only how I found out why it was called that.
I never knew it was like based on a book, and the book is quite short, isn't it? It's quite a short story.
It's like 150 pages.
Yeah,
that's quite a short book.
You could easily get through that probably in a night or two. That's quite good. We've got Cora saying, "You dick, now the thin red line theme will be stuck in my head for the up and coming hours. I thank you very much." I gather it's a very good theme.
I can't remember it.
Deep Demon Film Bloke says, "You're not alone. To me, it's one of the greatest films ever made." Dr. Impossible says, "Heretic, my Betty Davis slapped your chops from behind the graves." Jill says, "Deep Demon Film Bloke for me, it was outstanding." And Jules is telling Peter off for being naughty. Neil says, "One of the best war movies I've seen is Johnny Got His Guns. You might be familiar with it through the Metallica music video to the song One."
I've heard of the movie, but I've not seen it.
I've heard like the Metallica song, but I haven't got a clue. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I've heard of the movie. Yeah, I know the Metallica music video. Yeah, I've not seen the movie.
No. Cora says, "Nothing against Bet, just found the movies not that great."
That's fair enough.
Cora also says, "God, what? I'm supposed to have a mirror to read that." See what you just did. Yep, I'm not going to pronounce that, Cora. Oh wow. Peter says, "The first 3 Child's Play movies made me afraid of the dark when I was like 10, and that stuck for an embarrassingly many years." Yeah. I think what happened was I went round my stepbrother's. I must have been about 5 or 6 at the time, and he said, "Oh, he's old enough to watch Child's Play. Let him watch it." And I just remembered it was like one of these scenes out of, I think it might have been the second one, with the factory worker. I was just like, wow, thanks for showing me that. No sleep for a week. Thank you. and that always like put me off watching the films for such a while. But then I watched them last year. Quite like them. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. I think the Exorcist was another one for me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The whole crucifix sequence.
Yeah, I could get that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what else. Honestly, can't remember what else that used to scare me. Oh, he's now coming in again. You all right? All right. Night. 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 Yeah. Night. Tap me on the head. Yeah. Night. Tap me on the head. Only just stroked me. What?
See you later.
All right. Night. Night.
Take it up early in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Night. I'm ever so sorry about that. We just had 2 tins of soup.
As you do.
As you do. And he stuck a couple of patties. What? Oh, he's got to come back to check to see if the gas is off.
No.
Okay, moving on. DVD from Film Bloke says, I've only seen the first Omen. I thought it was pretty good. I also bet the doctor was wishing Jamie was impaled on that spike. I have no idea what's this about Omen. No.
I can't remember who Jamie is.
No. No. Sorry about that.
The priest in it's Patrick Troughton, isn't it? Second Doctor.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. That's pretty cool. Dr. Impossible says, been smoking magic pot again, itchy. Wow. Carlos says, I agree with Andy's take on Full Metal Jacket. A movie of 2 halves. Preferred the first half. Hamburger Hill, underrated and decent. Also, Born on the 4th of July is good. Also.
Yeah. I did not like that movie the first time I saw it, but on rewatch, I just thought this is the best Tom Cruise has ever been.
I've heard a lot of people rate that like his best performance ever.
Yeah, I'd agree with
that. Luke says, about to watch Urban Legend but Bloody Mary, the 3rd movie in the 88 film set. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I think with like a lot of the 88 films trilogy box sets, they start off great, but like the films get progressively worse, don't they?
Yeah, most of the ones they've released, like I haven't got much interest in them, if I'm honest. Yeah.
I if I'm honest, the first movie probably isn't even great. If I'm honest, like I know what you did last summer. That's okay, but it's not a great movie.
Yeah.
Same with Anaconda, and
and Species.
Yeah, they're not great movies. They are what they are. Yeah.
The box sets look really nice. Sorry.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Yeah. You only really want them for the first film, shall I say?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
But even then, the first films just aren't that great, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Not overly deserving the lavish treatment of that box set.
Yeah.
A different series could get it instead.
Yeah.
Because they're quite expensive, the box sets. Isn't that Species one about 30 quid or 35?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because they've done the Anaconda one quite recently as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched Species 1 and 2 recently, and the first one it's okay, it's watchable, but I watched the second one and I was like, this is horrendous. I could barely get through it.
These are the ones that they were the ones I kind of grew up with, so they've always got a special place for me. All these like Anacondas and that. So,
I rewatched Anaconda countless times as a kid, but looking back on it now, it's not good.
No, yeah, it's probably they're all kind of like the opposite to what we were saying about what was it, the Clockwork Orange. They're not good movies, but they are kind of fun movies to watch.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I watched Species, the first one, last year. Really enjoyed it, but I would rather just get that on its own. No, no, it wasn't. No, thankfully not. Thankfully not. It was on my phone on Amazon Prime. And the dad walked past and he was saying, "Oh, you're watching a nice film?" I said, "Yeah, very nice film." I know one film I was watching on my phone that definitely so glad I didn't watch it with my parents is Society. Oh.
I kind of love that film. Just for what it is.
I do kind of like it and do want to get it. But yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah.
Carl says, no, it's the Thin Red Line song by God You Takim. Life Belong Me, sung by the Malaysia Choir. Oh. Pete says, is Schlock any good or worth getting? Is it about a guy running around in a monkey suit?
I've not seen it.
Isn't it? Who directed
John
that?
Landis, isn't it?
John Landis.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I've not seen it. I've seen parts of it, but yeah, I'm not too sure.
What about you, Ash?
Yeah, I have seen it fairly recently, actually. I think it all depends on what you like. Yeah, I'm sure it's for some people, like John, like you say, I think he loves it. For me, I can appreciate why people like it, but it wasn't for me. I wouldn't personally buy it. Not my film, but it's quite funny. It's very like low budget, literally just a fella in a gorilla suit running around. Yeah, probably funny to some people, but it just wasn't quite my sense of humor. So depends what you like.
Yeah. That's cool. Because that's another one on Arrow, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Carl says, good luck to Luke. Dr. Impossible says, that film that scared the shit out of me was Eyes of a Stranger. That film gave me the shits. Thank God for brown pants. Eyes of a Stranger was made by the same team behind Friday the 13th. Oh, wow. I haven't heard of it, but I'm intrigued by it now, if it's that terrifying.
Yeah.
Laughing. Eastwood says, Pete, I'll send you the Omen trilogy if you cut your hair. Actually, I'm having a haircut tomorrow, so but it probably won't be that much cut off. Dr. Impossible says, if you want to see the true definition of horror, look at that interactive E.T. toy Ashens reviewed. If you watch that review, the ending is really unnerving. I haven't heard of that one. What's this about Ashens toy?
I haven't got a clue.
I think Soph watches Ashens, so I have to ask her. All I can remember of E.T. is like the film being absolutely terrified of that doll, and the video game that was absolutely awful. Cara says, not sure what's funny, Dr. Impossible. Glad you were having a good time, though. Dr. Impossible says, and Poltergeist had a TV series made by MGN. It was called Poltergeist The Legacy. No little blonde girl, but it was about a paranormal secret society who investigated demonic activity. Pretty creepy.
I didn't know there was a TV show.
I think it was like one of those TV shows, the ones that you got on like the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah,
it was one of those types.
It's quite interesting. But I know, like, the whole story behind Poltergeist, there's a lot of tragedy behind that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's fascinating, but it really is tragic. Like all the stuff that went on with those first, with all three of the movies.
Yeah. Luke says, so I ordered the Scream 2022 Steelbook on Zappy on Sunday and still waiting for it. I hope it comes tomorrow or Friday. Well, it won't come on Friday because it's Good Friday. No post, so it'll be Saturday. Hopefully you'll get it tomorrow, mate. Yes, that's a nice Steelbook. Have any of you guys picked up the new Scream yet?
No.
Not yet, no. I think I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'll wait as well. I liked it, but I'm not the biggest fan of how certain things happened in the film. But I'll get it, definitely.
Yeah.
DVD and Film Book says, I also had a weird... I'm such a weird bastard, but that bit in Ghostbusters 2 when Peter McNicol pinched the baby made me chuckle, and I had no idea why.
That's another bit of the movie that kind of creeped me out.
Is that when the lights are shining through his eyes?
It's when he's like sort of dressed up as the nanny, as a ghost.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, that bit's fucking terrifying, if I'm honest.
Oh right. Cora says, never watched A Long Goodbye without watching The Big Sleep with Bogart before it.
Okay. I have seen The Big Sleep many years ago.
DVD and Film Book says, oh, I forgot about... I also saw Chunkin Express and I thought it was really good.
I couldn't get into that film.
What is it about?
I can't really remember because I couldn't really get into it. I've tried watching it twice. I know it's an Asian movie, but yeah, I couldn't get into it.
No. Have you seen it, Mike?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I can't quite place it.
No. What about you, Ash?
No, not heard of that one.
No. Dr. Impossible says, true, Ichi, The Big Sleep was a diamond film, but gold was still brilliant in the Altman film. Carlos says, guys, thanks for answering the questions. One last movie face-off, preferred movies. Goodfellas versus Casino, Scarface versus Carlito's Way, or Godfather versus Godfather 2.
I think for me, I'll probably go Casino, Carlito's Way, and Godfather 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Goodfellas, Carlito's Way, and Godfather 2.
Ash?
So again, I'm going to base it on probably the ones I've seen the most, which would be Goodfellas, then Carlito's Way, and then the original Godfather.
Yeah. I'm going to skip Goodfellas and Casino because I still haven't seen them, but I do have them. I haven't seen Carlito's Way, so I can't really say no, but I do really enjoy Scarface, and I would say Godfather Part 1. Yeah, they're great sort of questions, Carlos. Really like them.
Yeah.
Chunking Express, rather.
Yeah.
Carl says yes, but The Long Goodbye is just that much more fun if you understand where Gould's character is coming from. Luke says yes, definitely, Cora May. Cora says, please let us know if you survive it. We'll be worried. Yeah. Carl says, oh, and thanks for taking one for the team. Dr. Impossible says, I know what you're saying, Ichi. Did you ever see Farewell, My Lovely with Robert Mitchum, Coral? Edward Kopic says, any of you guys watch Ozark on Netflix? I highly recommend it if you have not seen it. Never heard of it.
I think I've watched the first one, maybe two, but I think for me, like I don't know if you guys are the same, but there's so many series out there now. I just can't. I'm scared to commit to any because I just know that I'm never going to finish them. I just I stick ones I started like years back. Like I'll try and keep up with The Walking Dead. I started that so long ago. Maybe Fear the Walking Dead if I can. But I just try not to get into too many new series because I'd just rather sit down and get a film done in like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same.
I feel the same too. I mean, I'd rather go for a film, even a film franchise. A couple of nights you can get it done. But I've got this massive thing still sealed, and I need to watch it. And I'm just like, oh, how many minutes is it? 3,815 minutes. Where am I going to get the time to do that? I mean, and then I've heard the ending's real bad, so I'm like, do I really want to? But Neil says 7 is for me the movie that affects me the most emotionally. After that movie ended, I was like, man, the world sucks.
Yeah.
I think the scene in that movie that scared me the most was the one where they go to the guy's apartment and they think he's dead, and then he wakes up. Like,
is it the sloth kill? Is it?
That's it.
Yeah. That's horrific. That scene.
Yeah. It got my mum. She was like, "Fuck! I was not expecting that."
It's horrible.
Yeah. And then you got the gluttony one. That was
Yeah. No, the Lost one is the worst.
Oh, yeah.
The Lost kill is. I know Jason uses that as a comparison for a lot of things. When he's comparing bad things, but yeah, the Lost kill is. Whew.
It is rough, painful. Shall we say? Yep.
That's painful.
Yeah. But the ending of 7. Well.
Yeah.
I've got Carlos here saying, great work on the stream as always, Pete, Andy and Mike, and Popcorn and Horror for appearing. I'll catch up with the rest of the stream when uploaded later. Take care, guys, and keep on talking movies. Thanks ever so much for joining, Carlos.
Thanks, Carlos.
Cheers, Carlos.
Carlos says, no, but I've had Shout Factory Blu-ray with the Big Sleep remake in my wish list for ages. It's cool. Luke says, that's all right, mate. Haha, lol. Dr. Impossible says, the Big Sleep remake with Mitchum, directed by Michael Winner, is terrible. Wasn't impressed by it one bit, but Farewell was a cracker with Mitchum. Chrissy says, Playtendoguy didn't mean to freak you out. It's a horror TV series set in the 80s. I honestly thought it'd be your jam. No, you didn't freak me out. I just was like intrigued by one of the characters that looked like me. But yeah, I've seen a few episodes of it. I just never really got into it. The problem is, as we were saying with TV series, you've got to neglect so many time for it, and you really got to grab you and pull you in. And the first few episodes of season 1 of Stranger Things wasn't doing it for me.
I think one thing I do like about Stranger Things is the episodes aren't too long. I'm pretty sure they're only like 25, maybe 30 minutes long each, and I think that's quite a decent length. I'm not really a fan of TV shows when the episodes are like an hour long. I just think it's too long.
Even 40 minutes is too long for me.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, so like, and one season of Stranger Things, I think it's only 8 episodes a season, so you can kind of get through them pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have to give it another go. Definitely. I know that's like one of the reasons why I like the Marvel and the Star Wars TV shows, because they're only like 20, 30 minutes, quite bite-sized, shall I say.
Yeah.
Peter says, I want to cut Playtendoguy's hair. into this huge mullet, kind of like the one Bono had back in the 80s. Oh, fucking hell. Jeez. Yeah, in your dreams, Peter. In your dreams. Cara says, maybe wait for the sale on that Shout Factory Blu-ray then, if the big sleep isn't great. Carla said, haha, Pete, if you shave your head and eyebrows, I'll send you the Friday the 13th set. Take care, guys. Gotta go. Take care. Bye, Carlos. Oh, wow. Cara says, take care. Jill says, Andy loves Winona Ryder. She was one of my lady crushes. She's so awesome in Heathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, it's probably why I like Reality Bites as well, because she's in that.
Yeah. Oh, what is it? Bram Stoker's Dracula. She's great in that. Obviously, she's in Stranger Things as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
I liked her in is it A Scanner Darkly? That's pretty good.
I couldn't get into that film.
I couldn't get into it either.
I really do like Richard Linklater, like his movies, but Scanner Darkly, man, couldn't get into it.
It is one weird film, it is.
Yeah.
I must admit. But I know, I just sat and watched it and I was like just going ahead with it and I was like, yeah, I haven't got a clue what's going on, but yeah, I do like it. I do think the visual style of it is really cool.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, you may see the film differently to me, Carl, but Mitchum was let down by a considerably bad screenplay and Winner's sloppy direction. When you see it, tell me about it, Carl, what you thought. Cara says, never mind, there's a Spanish bootleg of Farewell, My Lovely. I'll just get that. Sounds good. Matt H is here and he says, have you all seen the film Men of Honor? No.
No,
but
but
Robert De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have seen it a long time ago though.
That was one of those films I always remember seeing, like the cover for it in Blockbuster. It was one of those typical movies. But I've seen the Blu-ray in it recently in CEX, but it's like, I think it's like 20 quid or something. It's quite expensive.
That's quite expensive, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one. I think like Dark City. I think it's quite hard to find because I was gonna pick it up, but as soon as I saw the price, I was like, "Oh, maybe not."
Yeah. I honestly never heard of it before. So I have to keep an eye out of it. You seen it, Ash?
I can't remember. I don't think I have. I can't remember it if I have, but again, it might have been like Andy. It might have been so long ago. I might have forgotten all about it. I can picture the cover. Yeah.
I think it's about diving, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got Jill saying waves to Pete's dad. They'll probably be down in a minute again for some more food, to be fair. Dr. Impossible says, I still got my old carton DVD release of Farewell, My Lovely. Ah, that's cool.
Nice.
Coral says, night, Pete's dad. Morning, Pete's dad. It'll be morning for him because he's up all night, to be fair. I once got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he was disappeared. Where was he? Down at McDonald's. he come on with the Big Mac of that. I said, what, Big Mac at this time? It's a snack, Peter. Fair enough. But yeah, DVD Phil Bloke says, in The Omen, the priest who got empowered was Patrick Troughton, who was the second Doctor, and Jamie was one of his companions. Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking there's one who's a companion called Jamie. Yeah. Coral says, Carlton had its own DVD. Dr. Impossible says, you'll have to get your dad on, Pete. Just tell him Alan Sugar will be making an appearance. He'll soon perk up. If I told him Alan Sugar was on here, he'll probably think he's a member of Tate and Lyle Sugar Company. Oh, but yeah, I won't be able to get him on here. All you'd hear is munching all the time. Honestly, I'm not joking. He eats all the time. But yeah, I'll have to ask him whether he'll want to come on a business meeting. But we'll see. He'll probably actually dress up in a suit. But I'll have to ask him next time, see what he says. But anyway, Matt says, Andy, do you ever sell or trade in any films, or when a film is in your collection, is it there to stay?
No, I don't. The only time I sell movies is if I'm upgrading it in terms of format. That's the only time I get rid of. Even if I hate the movie, I will never get rid of it. Yeah, everything's here to stay unless I am upgrading the format. Say from DVD to Blu-ray or Blu-ray to 4K. That's the only time. But yeah, no. If it's no matter what the title is, if it's one I don't have in the collection and I get it for the first time, it's there to stay.
Oh, Mike's just left. He'll probably be back in a sec. This cough. I'm sorry about this tonight, everyone. About this cough. It's dreadful. But Ash, do you sell any or trade in any films that you have in your collection?
Yeah, I do quite often. So I may just do to space more than anything. So I've got, well, you've probably seen my shelves if you've seen the video. So they're getting full kind of now. And with the amount of stuff I pick up, I find that I just have to sell it on because I try now and keep only stuff that I know I'm going to rewatch, whether it's bad or good. If I'm going to rewatch it a lot, I think it should stay in the collection.
Yeah.
If it's one that I feel like I've seen it now, I'm probably not going to rewatch it at least for a long, long time. And CEX normally give you a good price for some of the sort of 88 Films ones or Arrow ones at a certain points. Then I'd rather chop them in and get some fresh stuff to watch and try and keep the collection a bit more lean. Otherwise, it will just get out of hand.
That's true. Yeah. What about you, Mike? Do you sell or trade in any films?
I think, like Andy said, I'll only sell them if I've upgraded it. Yeah, if I do have a lot of bad movies in my collection, but I'll just keep hold of them. I think I've got a lot that are just like in my attic. Like I've got them hanging around somewhere. But yeah, I'll only get rid of them if I've got another version of them.
Yeah. For me, I get rid of them if I've upgraded or if I can get a good price for them. I bought a load of Disney films like for £2 from Poundland and ended up selling them for 15. So it was a decent profit. So I thought fair enough. But once I have something in the collection, I don't really want to sell it. I noticed recently with a lot of games, I traded a load in when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh, have I got it? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And I'm like, oh. So I spent quite like last year or the year before buying them back into the collection. Even though I haven't played them, I just missed having them in the collection because there's going to be that one time you're like, oh, I want to play it. And I haven't got it.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, Coro, no, Carlton was a TV company in the UK who owned the Rank and ITC film library. Then it became Granada Ventures and finally ITV. Yeah, I thought Carlton was something to do with ITV because I remember they used to advertise that at the end of ITV programs.
Yeah.
Cora says, okay, I know of ITV and Rank. Learn something new, thanks. No problems, Ichi. Cora says, do you guys have any BFI releases? Love them myself.
I've got a handful, not too many. I've got La Bella La Bête, on BFI Blu-ray, which is like the original version of Beauty and the Beast, from the 40s, I think. Yeah, I've got a few others, but the titles aren't coming to mind. But yeah, BFI is not really a big label I'm into.
Yeah. What about you, Ash?
So yeah, it sort of goes back to the last question actually we were answering, where I had one, I haven't got it anymore, but I picked it up because I found it in a charity shop for £1, and it was one called I Start Counting, which is actually quite a good film, but it kind of just didn't have that kind of rewatch value for me. And I think CEX were giving £8, 10 quid, something like that, to trade it in. I thought, you might as well, if I'm not going to watch it again, I might as well get something else at CEX for that.
That's good. Yeah. What about you, Mike?
No, I don't think I own any on BFI. I don't think there's that many movies that interest me enough from that label. I think there is one that I do want to get. I think it's is it Eyes Without a Face?
Yeah.
I think that's on BFI. Yeah. I'd like to get that at some point. And there's another film called Naked. That's a British film. I think that's on BFI. So there too, I do want to pick up at some point.
Yeah. As for me, I haven't got any BFI releases. I have looked at the label before, but honestly, none of the titles really interest me as much. There'd probably be one or two there if I proper did some in-depth research, but it's not one that I've really bothered to care about. But what sort of recommendations would you have, Cora, on the BFI label? We have the Retro Girls, Lisa and Michelle here, saying, "All right, lads, the Scream Steelbook is amazing." Hey, yeah, it really does look good. The 4K one really does look nice. You get the Blu-ray with that, don't you? But with the standard 4K, you don't, which is odd.
It's a bit naughty, that.
Yeah, and they charge 25 quid for it. It should be 20 quid for the 4K.
Yeah. I think the price difference between DVD and Blu-ray should be the difference between Blu-ray and 4K. Because I don't think the difference is that much between Blu-ray and 4K, but the difference between DVD and Blu-ray is tremendous.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
That should be the £10 difference.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And Blu-ray and 4K should only be £5.
I agree there, especially if you don't get the Blu-ray in the case anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Some of these 4K box sets are ludicrous money. I know the Godfather one, isn't that like 70, 80 quid?
Yeah, ridiculous. And I've looked at that. I've seen people's videos for that box set, and it looks such poor quality, like flimsy box set. It reminds me of the Indiana Jones 4K box set.
Yeah,
it looks like same material, just a really boring design. Yeah, so I do want to get those films on 4K, but I'm gonna wait until that box set is cheaper.
Yeah, it's the pricing with 4K that does it for me. I know with the Star Trek films, the first 4 they released on 4K, that box set was another disappointment.
Again, I think it's Paramount again. I think they did Indiana Jones, the one I just said, Godfather, and Star Trek. Yeah, just flimsy boxes with lazy designs.
It's very odd. For me, I class 4K as a premium item, premium product that's a luxury to buy. They should treat it with a bit more respect and give it a more lavish packaging to make it worth the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can get that limited edition Godfather set, which does look pretty nice, but it's like 120 quid. So it's a bit too much.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit like with Spider-Man. The trilogy box set on DVD is 15, trilogy box set on Blu-ray is 20, trilogy box set on 4K 60. How's that work out?
Yeah.
So, maybe 40, but 60? Nah.
No.
We've got Gary here saying good evening, everyone. Good evening, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Cora saying Gary. Dot Impossible says, did you see I Start Counting with Jenny Agutter and directed by David Green? It's on BFI Blue, and it's a fantastic little British thriller about a serial killer. Oh, that's one you
That's
were
the
on
one I
about,
picked
wasn't
up.
it?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good film.
Oh, that's not too bad. Cora says no, but it's on my wish list. Gary says, I Start Counting is grey. I double dipped on it, BFI and Vinegar Syndrome. Oh, must admit, from that description, I'm kind of intrigued now. Yeah, it sounds good. Cora says, popcorn and horror. What's your favourite movie or genre and why?
Favorite movie or genre? So probably my favourite movie. Again, if I go to the one I probably watched the most over my life span, is The Labyrinth. It's a Jim Henson movie from 1985 or 86. Definitely the one I've watched the most. That's been like the one that I've always bought on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. Now got it on 4K straight away. Is one of the first ones I picked up. And then genre-wise, probably, I guess horror. Hence the kind of title. I like the horror movies, like 80s, 90s, 2000 horror. That's where I'll go. You know, I look at the other horrors as well, 60s, 50s, 70s.
Great pick, Sarah. I love Labyrinth. Such a great film.
Yeah.
Carl says, any other BFIs that are recommended? Got any recommendations?
I don't know many of them.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
I've not got it on BFI, but I think it had a BFI release not too long ago. Was it Rita Sue and Bob 2?
Yeah, I think that did. I
think that got a BFI release.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I think there's one that got released this week. I think one with Peter Cushing. I can't remember what it's called now. 1984, is it? I'm not sure.
Oh, is it 1984?
Yeah, I think that got a release this week. I don't know whether that's on BFI or not. It might be, I'm not sure. DVD Phone Bloke says, I think the kills in Seven were the only good parts in my opinion. It's a film I really just couldn't get on with.
That's fair enough. If I'm honest, I didn't like it the first time I saw it at all. Couldn't get into it. It took me quite a few watches to really sort of appreciate it. I love the film now. I think it's one. I don't think wonderful's the right word, but it's I do think it's a great movie. Yeah.
I watched it recently, like last year. Everybody said, watch it, see what it's like. I gave it a go, and honestly, just really enjoyed it straight from the get-go. I just like the detective aspect of it, and it being quite dark. It just gelled really well, and the twists and turns that happened in that film were just like shocking, considering I didn't know nothing. But yeah, definitely a film you should go and not know nothing about.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, did you see David Green's other film, The People Next Door, all about a young girl and a drug addiction, but very underrated performances? Got it on Indicator in the South.
Not for me.
No,
I didn't see it. Did you, Mike?
Yeah, the title rings a bell, and I think I was looking at it in the sale, and it did intrigue me, but I can't quite remember what it's about. But yeah, it did intrigue me.
Oh. Yeah, I kept looking at like all the Indicator titles, but that one I can't remember the title. No.
I think it's a fairly new release. It might not have even been in the sale because I think it is a fairly recent release. Yeah.
All right. Cara says, no, I haven't. Cara says, I like how Andy and Mike's heads shake in stereo.
It's probably because we've grown up together, and we probably just
we have a lot of the same sort of mannerisms, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very in sync.
Yeah.
Dot Impossible says, add that onto your watch list, Ichi. Eli Walsh plays the father. Great performances in that.
Okay.
Okay, I will. I think Eli Walsh is great. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the movie Big Fish?
I couldn't get into that movie. Again, I'm not taking away from the movie saying it's bad or anything like that. It just wasn't for me. Couldn't get into it.
I haven't seen it. Is it like a Tim Burton film, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know it recently got a 4K release, but never seen it. Isn't Ewan McGregor in it?
Yeah, Albert Finney, Danny DeVito.
Oh, right. What are your thoughts on it, Ash?
So again, it's one of those ones I think, a bit like Andy, I couldn't get into it when I watched it first of all, but that was going back to probably the release date, which was maybe 2003, 2004, somewhere around there, I think.
Yeah, 2004,
yeah, so I have recently picked it up on, actually probably one of my pickups videos on Blu-ray, because I do want to see it again. So there's got to be something to it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Mike?
I've watched it maybe 3 or 4 times, and I just cannot get into that film at all. But I know there's people who absolutely love it and say it's one of Tim Burton's best. I mean, it's one of Zoe's favorite films. She can watch it over and over again. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. What is the film about anyway?
It's kind of like Forrest Gump, but with a lot of mystical and magical sort of elements to it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I
just see the front cover and it doesn't give away a lot at all. It's just like a tree, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's because I grew up with a lot of Tim Burton movies like Batman and Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands. And I just think Big Fish doesn't feel like those movies at all.
Yeah.
No.
It just doesn't fit into that sort of bracket for me. And I just think that's just why I couldn't relate to it.
Yeah. From the sounds of it doesn't sound like your typical Tim Burton film.
No.
Yeah. I think it came out sort of that era where I don't think Tim Burton was as hot as he was in Hollywood anymore. Like he was having hits and misses. And yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't gel with that film.
I feel like it's too long. Like it seems to go on for ages.
Yeah.
How long is the film end? Like 2 hours?
I think it's over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours 10, 2 hours 20.
Oh, so quite long then. DVD from Film Note says Alan Sugar, the man known for firing people and creating the Amistad CPC and that Amistad double-decker videotape, which I heard is crap. Cora says Pete's dad sounds like Dr. Impossible. He eats constantly too, mostly Cornish pies. Dr. Impossible says, is he a Cornish man, Pete? No, he's a greedy bastard. That's what he is. Oh, a bit harsh, sorry. But yeah. Oh, no. Ever since I was a kid, he used to eat all my chocolates. He used to come downstairs, eat my chocolates. Easter eggs, all the chocolates gone. Christmas, all the selection boxes gone. I came down one morning, he had all chocolate round his mouth. He said, I just tested them to see if they were all right, Peter. I said, they're all gone. He said, well, I'll get you some more, and he never did. Got a brand new packet of crisps. He eats all them up. I remember we had Watsits, and there was just the bags on the floor, and he said, oh, that was the dog. I said, how could the dog unwrap the bags? Dr. Impossible says, I never stop eating myself. Well, I've never put weight on. It's a Cornish thing. Well, unfortunately, he puts on a lot of weight. He's supposed to be on a diet, but unfortunately, it's a see-through and eat-it diet. We did have him on a diet of like salads and that, and he lost loads of weight. And then he got back onto McDonald's and Subways, and then anything. I mean, for like breakfast or lunch today, he had like 2 tins of soup or a tin of soup, 5 hot crust buns, and several other things. So yeah. But anyway, this is a movie stream. We shouldn't be talking about my dad's dietary. Gary says Amstrad computers were useless. I've heard things about them, yeah. Cara says, Andy, what have you got against red-coloured wheelbarrows?
Red-coloured wheelbarrows?
Red-coloured wheelbarrows?
I'm missing something here.
I am so confused here. Dr. Impossible says, Christ, I had an Amstrad VHS player back in the 80s, had a good pick quality, but Panasonic and JVCs were Rolls-Royce and Ferraris of VHS players. Yeah. Matt says, what is the oldest film in your collection?
I think mine's a Trip to the Moon from 1902.
Yeah. For me, it's one of the Universal ones. Universal Dracula. That's 1930 odd, isn't it?
31.
Yeah. What about you, Ash?
I presume it might be the original King Kong. I think it's 33, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
33,
yeah.
That I know of, unless there's another one I don't know how much older it is.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I think mine's Dracula as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I got it in that big Universal collection on Blu-ray. Got about 8 films in it. That's a nice set.
Yeah.
That's another set they cheapened out on 4K. They halved the films and released it for 60 quid.
Wow.
Yeah.
We like that Hitchcock set as well.
That's true, yeah.
There's like 4 films in that on 4K and it's like 60 quid.
Yeah. And they're doing a volume 2 for that with another 4 films in for 60 quid. I'm like, that is just a money-getting game.
Yeah.
A Voyage. I'm not pronouncing that. Lisa Michelle says, anyone's a fan of the Skyline movies? I just finished watching the newest one for the first time. It was quite good. Not as good as the first movie, though.
I couldn't place a Skyline movie.
I didn't know there was a series. I've heard of the first one. I didn't know there was any more after that.
I've seen the first one years ago.
I think I've got the first one, which I quite like. Thought that was quite good. And then I thought I bought the second one, which turned out to be the third one. So I watched it thinking it was a sequel. I was missing so much, and I didn't quite understand. I must have missed such a chunk out of the middle section. But yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Oh, cool. I just always thought that was one of them. I remember watching the first one. It was alright. It was fine. But that's cool.
I think it's Skyline, then maybe Skylines, and then Beyond Skyline,
Yeah.
I think it is. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the names ring a bell. Beyond Skylines, yeah. Keith says, is there any films out there that you used to enjoy but would be open to see them being remade? That's a hard question.
See, I'm all for terrible movies getting a remake because I think when good movies get remade, I think there's not really much more you can improve on. I think if you remake a bad movie, there's room for improvement.
Yeah,
so you can always take more time and put more effort in. For me, so I don't know. I'd like to see like a decent Garbage Pail Kids movie, or a decent sequel to The Mask.
Yeah.
Or, things along that line.
Let's have a look. Can they remake Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, if only.
What about you, Mike?
I'm not sure. I'm not really into remakes, if I'm honest. Especially if it's a film where I don't really think it needs a remake. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I can't think of anything, to be honest. Yeah.
No.
I think the only one that see, I don't mind a remake. Like I appreciate the original, and I think if you like the original, then the remake's not going to harm that really usually.
Yeah.
But there's I think someone spoke about this recently actually. The is it Silent Night, Deadly Night movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be quite interested to see if they could do like a more kind of Hollywood version of that, and maybe put a bit more into it. Might be quite interesting.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. Yeah. Yeah, good pick. Lisa Michelle says, anyone excited for the Super Mario Brothers movie? It's a shame it's not live action. Yeah, I'm excited. I like Mario. Should be good. I mean, the voice cast is quite interesting, to be fair. Yeah, Chris Pratt as Mario. Fair enough. But yeah, we don't really know much about the movie until the trailer releases. But it's coming from the guys who's done the Despicable Me films, so it should be all right. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I'll see it when it comes out. I always have a soft spot for the Bob Hoskins one. I mean, as terrible as that movie is, that movie is like Blade Runner meets The Long Good Friday. As horrible as a mashup as that sounds, I do have a soft spot for it. But yeah, I'll see this new one at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ash?
Yeah, I think I'll definitely see it at some point. Probably, I mean, mostly based on what they did with Sonic, because I think Sonic came out pretty well, and notoriously game to kind of film doesn't go very well, does it? So yeah, you can never get too excited about a video game getting put into film, I don't think. But yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'll see it when it comes out. I think, like you say, I think until we get that trailer, it's kind of I can't really picture how it's going to look. Well, I guess I can, but until we see that trailer, yeah.
I do have some hope for it because Nintendo's very strict with their IPs. Even though they let that Mario movie let out, even though it's not that good, they are very restricted with how they're doing it. And apparently, the original creator of Mario is right behind them, making sure everything's right. So hopefully, it should be good. Hopefully. Lisa Michelle says, "Where do you think they'll get those prices from for those new releases? Do they think it's made out of gold, or what, for 4Ks?"
Yeah.
I do think like £25 for one disc for a film is just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Andy.
I was just gonna say, when you do the math, it's 4 for 100. 4 discs for £100. Like, that's scandalous.
It is. and the films are like only about 2 hours, 3 hours long. I mean, I normally like price it out of like value of content, especially when it's with games. I'll easily pay 50 quid for a game if I really am looking forward to it. But as long as I get that return back, like hours of quality content. So like if I pay 50 quid for a game and I get like a good 30 hours out of it, that's money well spent in my opinion. Because you've got a good thing. But like 2 films, 50 quid, I could never justify that.
No.
I mean, 15 quid for a Blu-ray is just about all right, especially for a film I like. It can be a push for a new release, say like Scream, that I'll probably wait until it hits a tenner. But yeah. What's your opinions on the pricing structure, Ash?
Yeah, I think it's too much, you know. But like I said, I used to when I joined the store I used to work in years ago. VHS was the main thing, and I remember when they went over to DVD, and pretty much all DVDs we were putting out, they were like 20 quid, like for whatever DVD it was. So it was similar then, where the VHSs were all being sold off for about 3 or 4 quid to just clear them out. So I think it happens with everything. They always they will eventually come down, and you can always get them on a deal at some point.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Oh, sorry, Andy. Were you about to say something?
No.
Yeah, I think I will pay like £25-30 for a release, but only if it's like, you know, a nice boutique release or like it's in a deluxe set. I think the standard commercial releases you get in like say like Scream for 25 quid on 4K, it's just it's too much for me, especially when I know in a few months time it'll be cheaper. I just think when you pay for like a boutique release, it's nice because you can kind of take it home but you can kind of look at it for a bit, and you know, you can read the booklets, you can check out the contents, whereas when you buy like just a standard release, you're gonna look at the cover for like a few seconds and then you're just gonna put it down until you watch it. So it just doesn't feel like that much value for money. I know at the end of the day it's all about the film, but it just feels a bit nicer when you get more with the film. It just kind of justifies the price a bit more.
I absolutely agree, because like Scream hasn't got artwork on the disc as well. Like that seems to be a thing now. It just seems to be like very cheapening out. I know like a lot of us make out over Spider-Man with the slipcover and that, but it's these like little things that add to the value of the product for 25 quid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know, just getting something like this. I mean, you know, it's just in one of these nice hard boxes, and it just feels like it's worth the price. But like,
isn't that like £30? Isn't it?
Yeah, it was £30. Yeah, but it just feels like it's worth it. Whereas
in my eyes, that seems to be worth more than a box standard 4K, because you get more for your money there.
Yeah, I mean, you get the 2 booklets, you get like a poster. There's like, I think there's art cards in there, and yeah, it just feels a little bit more worth the money.
To me, it feels like standard 4K should just be like $17.99, $19.99 at a max.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't think I've ever bought any like brand new 4Ks like those standard ones for 25 quid. Yeah, I think I've always just waited until they've gone in the deal.
Yeah. Seems to be the best thing to do. Gary says The Phantom Carriage in 1921. Dr. Impossible says you've got it, Mike. Lager Studios should consider better packaging like Indicator and Second Sight, but that will never happen.
Yeah.
Gary says a BFI release I recommend is Nosferatu the Vampire, 1979.
Yeah, is that the Wenger Herzog one?
Oh, is that a remake? Because isn't the original like really early on? Oh.
Yeah, I think like Wenger Herzog and Klaus Kinski remade one.
Well, that might be my first ever BFI, and that sounds quite good. I always want to watch one of them films. David saying, good evening, Gary. Coral says the whole Herzog box set by BFI is recommended, as is Nosferatu, the 79 and the 22 version. Ah, cool. Dr. Impossible says 1984, the BBC TV production with Cushion. The BFI had issues with that release going back some way. It's viewed as being the best adaptation of Eric Blair's novel, though the film version's just as good. Oh, that's cool. DVD Film Book says, my God, there's a lot of movies brought up in this stream and he couldn't get into.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just waiting for me.
Yeah. DVD for Film Bloke says, I know a film Andy would get into, Bugsy Malone. Okay, I'm taking the piss.
Just a bit there.
Yeah. David asks Andy, have you picked up any of the Disney films on 4K?
No. I've got pretty much all the classics on Blu-ray or DVD, but I keep them all in Blu-ray cases just because I just think they look nicer when a bit more uniform. And same with Pixar, I've got all those on Blu-ray so far. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. I think another thing is with the Disney films on 4K, I think they're quite expensive as well. They're like 25 quid, aren't they? Or are they on a 2 for 25 offer?
I'm not sure if they're on the offer. I could be.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't know.
No.
But Disney for me always come at a high price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cora says, BFI recommendation of the evening is Bill Morrison's selected films 96 to 2014. Oh, that's cool. Gary says, anyone seen the 81 film Possession with Sam Neill and Isabel Adjani as one of the Video Nasty lists?
Yeah.
Oh.
Heard of it, but not seen it.
What do you think of it, Mike?
It's a strange film. It's kind of hard to describe, but there's parts of that movie that made me really uncomfortable. There's a really famous scene with that actress where she's like in a tunnel and she's kind of having like a mental breakdown, but there's some people think that it's like real, and that she's not really acting, and there's just some really uncomfortable moments in that movie. It's probably worth a watch. It's an interesting one, but it's not a very conventional sort of horror movie. But it's a strange film.
Have you seen it, Ash?
I haven't. No, that's again. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Cora says, yeah, I have Blu-ray. Dr. Impossible says, I've tried watching Big Fish 3 times and it doesn't cut it for me either. Peter says, I have Possession on DVD, haven't watched it yet, seems interesting. DVD from Film Bloke says, who knows, Dr. Impossible is actually Pete's dad in disguise. DVD from Film Bloke says, the oldest film in my collection, it's King Kong from 1933. Most of my pre-70 films are Hitchcock's. Cool. Peter says, yeah. And he also says, probably Nosferatu is in mine, oldest, I mean. Yeah, cool. Dr. Impossible says, King of Kings, the silent version. We've got Yorkshire Media here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the new Ted series coming to Peacock?
Is this the Seth MacFarlane Ted?
Is this the Bear Ted? Yeah.
Didn't know about it.
No,
I didn't.
I haven't got a clue.
I didn't know.
No. I just thought, like, after the second film, it just faded into obscurity.
Yeah.
But they're doing the TV series. Fair enough. I've only ever seen the first one. Haven't seen the second one. Yorkshire Media says, I'd like to see a Convoy remake.
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible says, what did you think of Weekend at Bernie's? I was thinking about getting the DVD release by Network DVD.
I think that's a really funny film. Silly, but yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, because there's like a network sale on now, and you can pick that up pretty cheap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You seen it, Mike?
Yeah. The first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny, but the second time, not so much. I don't know. I think it was probably just a first time watch for me.
Yeah. What about you, Ash?
Yeah, I think I've only seen it the once, and that was going back quite some time now. That was on VHS. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it when I watched it back then. So yeah, so go for it.
DVD and Film Bloke says that new Mario movie will only be good if Do the Mario was in it. Yeah. Yorkshire Media says, I think 4K DVDs are overpriced. Yeah, I can get that. Definitely. Lisa Michelle says, what about the ridiculous price for the 2 Doctor Who movies that are coming out, £50 each? I think I'll stick with them on Blu-ray. Yeah, it's ridiculous pricing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they're doing 2 sets. They're doing like a box set one, like similar to an Arrow release, and they're doing a separate steelbook as well. It just comes across really greedy.
Yeah.
Cara says, get the Boy Brackart and Anthology Volumes 1 and 2 box set, very Cornish. DVD and Film Bloke says, yeah, I'm happy with my Blu-rays, plus I don't have a UHD play. Yeah, you'd be better off just buying Blu-rays. Save a lot of money. Gary says, what's the most you've spent on a single Blu-ray release?
I don't think I've ever gone higher than 25 on a single Blu-ray.
No? What about you, Ash?
I think 22 for me is the only one the most I've spent on a single one. That was just one of those ones that's like now a bit like we were saying with Dark City. It's like hard to get hold of, and there's not many about. And 22 was actually the cheapest I'd seen that release around for years.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I think it was probably when Dawn of the Dead, you could only get it on the Arrow version. I think I bidded for that on eBay, and I think it ended up costing me about £38. But yeah, I was just I was desperate to own it at the time, so I kind of paid the price. But yeah, I've got the 4K version now, but I'll still keep hold of that Arrow one just for sentimental value.
Yeah. For me, I'll probably say, Last American Virgin. I think I paid about 23, 24 quid for it. For our own version. But it did come with booklet, it did come with both the DVD and the Blu-ray, and it's in good condition, so I was happy with it.
Money well spent, Pete.
Definitely is. Dr. Impossible says, I'll have a look. I'm feeling hungry now. Time for McDonald's, methinks. Cora says €52.16. Luke says, I'm still here, but I'm off now, guys. It's been brilliant watching the streams, lads. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Thanks for joining, Luke. Hope you have a good night. Thanks.
Cheers, Luke.
Dr. Impossible says, what is the best Barry Levingston, director, film you've seen?
Is he the guy who did Rain Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll probably have to say Rain Man. I know he did Toys as well, which is a movie I do not like in the slightest.
Oh, that is an odd film.
Yeah.
I'll probably go with his first movie, which is called Diner.
I didn't know he directed that. That's a great film.
Yeah, and there was another good one called Sleepers. That's got a really good cast.
Yeah,
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Is that the prison one?
Yeah. The prison, the sort of courtroom.
Yeah.
What about you, Ash?
I think it has to be Rain Man for me, I think, as well.
Yeah. Rain Man is another one I need to watch. Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another one I've got to get around to watching. But yeah, as what Mike said, Sleepers. I have seen that. That's pretty good. Carl says, weren't you buggering off to McDonald's? Dr. Impossible says it's raining outside, Coral. Drizzle, so I might skip the McDonald's. Cherry Bakewell instead with some wine. Well, you're sounding very much like my dad there. My dad would be like a whole box of Cherry Bakewells with a whole full 2-litre bottle of Coke. Dr. Impossible says, DVD and Film Bloke says, Good Morning Vietnam is the only... I've only seen Good Morning Vietnam and Rain Man. One film is amazing and the other is shit. I think which one's which. Yeah, I know you wasn't a big fan of Rain Man.
I forgot about Good Morning Vietnam. I love that film.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah. Cora says, what a lame excuse now. Are you a McDonald's fanboy or not? I'm not the biggest fan of McDonald's, to be fair. I had one the other day and I was like, well, I'm not that bothered about one now. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the movie Charlie's Angels Full Throttle? Isn't this the second one with Cameron Diaz?
Yeah.
I've only seen that movie once and I don't remember a single thing about it.
I just remember who plays the Angels and that's about it.
Same.
Yes, it's not a film that I want to revisit, nor is the new one that came out a few years ago. What about you, Mike?
I've not seen it. I don't think I've seen anything like Charlie's Angels related. I think the only thing that I can think of when it comes to Charlie's Angels is the spoof from Scary Movie 2.
Oh,
that's the only thing that comes to mind.
Peter says, does anyone know if Snake and the Silverhead Witch probably comes with a slip or not? Or ordered from the Arrow page?
Yep, I've got it with a slip.
Oh, I've never heard of that one. Is that a fairly recent one?
Yeah. It's pretty recent. I think 6 or maybe it was last year. I think it was last year sometime. Yeah, like quite an old Japanese horror movie, but it's pretty good.
Oh, that's cool. Dr. Impossible says, Good Morning was great fun, though I did like Bugsy with Warren Beatty playing Mafia boss Bugsy Segal.
That's an alright movie.
Peter says, I got Lilith with Warren Beatty from The Indicator Cell. Anyone seen it?
No.
Dr. Impossible says, I do like a Big Mac, but I also like Burger King. A good tart goes down well. Thank God for Mr. Kipling. I agree, Dr. Impossible. Thank God for Mr. Kipling and his wonderful cakes. Making it sound like a Mr. Kipling advert here. Neeson Michelle says, I love Charlie's Angels lol. I own the game on PS2 and GameCube as well. Wow. They did video games from... Wow. Coro saying popcorn and horror is probably thinking, what the fuck did I get myself into? Someone get me out of here. Right. And Coro says, as long as it's food, you don't care, do you? Haha. Right. And that is the end of the well, no. We've got one more comment. If you got any more comments, you quickly pop them in. But he says, Dr. Impossible says, young Sherlock Holmes for me.
Is that Barry Levinson?
Don't know. So I probably might be. I'm not sure. I love that film. That was on TV the other day. I recorded it. Such a great film.
Yeah, I love that. I love that film. But the kid that plays Watson just looks so much like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god. Lisa Michelle says, all this talk about your dad's greedy habits, Pete. All I can think of is fat bastard from Austin Powers getting my belly back. He has. I have gotten to say that quite a few times at dinner time, and he sits there and says, "Get in my belly."
You know, all I can think of is that bit where he's in bed with Heather Graham.
Yeah.
Wow. Cora says, young Sherlock Holmes' sister for me, though. Yummy. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't remember hearing that. I'll have to give that another look.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it soon, so yeah, cool. And DVD from Film Bloke says, good night then, if this is the end. Wow. Yep, this is at the end of the comments, so want to wrap up for tonight then, gents?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we've done 3.5 hours, so it's a pretty good lengthy stream. So I'd like to thank everybody at home for watching the live stream. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks to Ash for joining tonight as our special guest. I hope you enjoyed your first ever live stream.
I did, yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely invite you on again in the future.
Super.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Andy and Mike, as always, for being the co-hosts.
Thanks, Pete.
No problem.
Yeah, and thank you all at home for watching. We've still got 15 people watching. Join us again next week at 7:30 on a Wednesday night, as always, where us, oh my days, we've just got a deluge of comments. Cora says, glad it's all up to us, apparently. Good night, everyone. Great stream. Thanks ever so much, Mark. Cora says, haha. Dr. Impossible says, I have standards with food, Cora. Cherry bakewells are the top. Take a pack to the cinema and share. I like cherry bakewells, but I take the cherry off. I don't like them.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh, wow. I thought I was the only one. But yeah, that'll do it for tonight. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you all again next week at 7:30, where our special guest will be Movies with James. So till next time, bye.
See ya.
Bye.